Good night. Uh, that's the end. In the hallway. See you Sunday. Peace out. Good night.
All right, good job, Perry.
An animal. Such a good night, guys. Thank you. Ciao. See you Sunday, 12 noon. Good night. Chaz or Jazz or whoever the fuck you are, good night. See you Sunday, 12 noon. Good night. Bye. Ugh, fucking A. Ugh. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Good night.
Good night, Perry. Good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Um, don't fear, don't fret. I got a lot of people blowing up my messages saying that the about the Wario thing. Just have a little faith in me and have a little faith in Joey that we will make that happen. We will do the Wario stream. Hopefully by Sunday it would be great because, like I said, I don't know if you didn't catch it earlier, but I think next Friday or possibly next Sunday, I'm not sure which one yet, is going to be the last stream for a little tiny bit, just like a week or two off, maybe more like 10 days or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but so I'd like to do that. I know that Wario game comes out next Friday, so sometime between now and then we will make it happen. Have a little faith in Joey, the fundraising king. If you want to see it, Perry in the Wario costume, get involved in the Discord. Join the Discord and get in touch with Joey specifically, and little chipping away and thing. Mr. S, if you missed the Wario thing, Perry got a Wario costume in the mail with a note that said, the new game, the WarioWare game. It's coming out next Friday, and it would be a nice promotion if he would dress up like Wario. Perry took offense to it because he doesn't like the way the guy looks or whatever. But yeah, we'll make that happen. And he did, and as Rick says, he did a pretty good Wario voice, so I know he can do it. I know he can do it.
Night! Stop fucking talking on my computer.
John Diaper, how do you get banned for real without stepping on any toes? I don't know. You came pretty close tonight with your comments.
Good night.
Between the mom stuff and the W word, which will go. So you're on the right path if that's what you're looking for.
Hey, do you mind if I turn off my computer?
But yeah, I don't know. I'd love for that Wario thing to happen on Sunday. I think that would work. I mean, I don't know. See, there's a couple of things. Like Wednesday is media share day. I don't know if that would be great. And we don't do offers on Wednesday, but maybe seeing him, I don't know. Maybe seeing him run to the door on Wednesday in Wario would be.
I'm going to sleep.
And
You're not paying attention to me.
and
Fuck
then
you.
next Friday is actually the day it gets released for mailbag, but maybe it's too far removed from today. So my vote is for Sunday, if we can get that to happen. It's going to take some convincing, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yes, Garrett, you're right. It is Porno Hub time, I'm sure. I hope we're not still. Hang on a second. I thought I turned him off. Is that going out on the air? No, I took my headphones off so I couldn't hear him. Was he talking? It's weird. I don't have anything. It's weird. I don't have anything open where he would be on. Let me see. Because when I do the after hours, I usually take my headphones off because oh shit. No, I don't see. No, he's not open. We're not connected. We're not connected in any way. What do I think Perry's doing right now? I think he said I turned. I can't see him. I turned off all of his things. Just double checking if anything's. Oh, he told me to shut. I think he could hear some kind of whisper things, but yeah, he can't. He can't hear any. No, he can't hear anything. He might have heard some stuff. I do hear something in the background, though. I hear something. Like there is something going on. Hang on a second. Let me call him. He was screaming good night and telling me to shut off so he could turn his computer off. Oh, okay. Maybe that's true. Johnny Pretzel says, was shocked. Tom and Mods, the Patreon is really great. Thanks for providing all that. Thank you. I'm glad you like Patreon. Like I've said many times, I put our Patreon against any other content creator. A lot of exclusive stuff. Just gonna call him real quick. I hear this like weird. Does this go off? Oh yeah, I'm hearing these weird like boops and beeps. What will Perry wear for Halloween if we're doing Wario on Sunday? Wario again, or maybe a costume, maybe multiple costumes. But I think that's the Ring camera that's still on. I gotta turn that off. Sorry, is there some kind of thing? Are you still on the stream? Are you still connected to the stream somehow? Do you turn your computer on or something? Sorry, I can't. You didn't turn it off?
No, I didn't turn it off.
Why am I hearing this weird thumping?
I don't know.
All right, hold on.
I didn't touch it. Want me to shut it off?
Yeah, just restart it because there's something weird going on. Because I have Skype. Wait, go in front of the computer and talk.
Hello?
Yeah, see, you're on. That's crazy.
No.
Were you telling me to shut up earlier? Were you telling me to shut up earlier?
Was I telling you to shut up earlier? No.
Yeah, people were telling me you were telling me to shut up. All right, I gotta figure out. All right, this is bizarre. I gotta figure out how.
I'll restart the computer right now. If you want me to.
I want to figure this out for myself.
Restart it?
No, not yet. Hold on, not yet. Well, since you're on After Hours, why don't we just do a full After Hours thing? And
no, fuck you. Good night.
Oh,
I'm restarting the computer. Fuck off, everybody.
I see. It's still.
I'm restarting the computer. Forget it. I'm going to bed. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Restart. Clicking it now.
All right.
Good night.
I see the thing here. Yeah. Okay. I missed you.
Ciao.
Bye. Good night. Okay, see, yeah, now I don't hear you anymore. Now you're still on the phone, right? What are you going to do now? Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Hey, you want somebody in the chat said that you should go to Denny's. Want to do that?
What?
Go to Denny's. If we come back and go to.
Oh, I'm going to sleep, motherfucker! Go to Denny's, fuck off!
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Well, that was weird. I didn't say. I don't think I said anything terrible though. I just said that he was gonna wear. I just said that I was gonna get him to wear the costume. So I don't think. So I think what happened is I X'd out of Skype, but I didn't close out his camera. I think that's what did it. But that was that could have been worse. That could have been worse. Yeah. All this technical jargon. It's hard to keep it going. No, I don't think I said anything bad either. But I just wanted to make sure. Like, hey, like I don't. And by the way, I never come on after hours like, boy, that Perro, that Perry's a real asshole. We got him good tonight. You know, I don't ever do that. So, you know, whatever. I don't want him docking my tips for TomB tomorrow. Saturday's a very big day. Usually, his cousin comes over on Saturday. Anyway, and it's nice. And that's the thing. If there's usually like enormous food deliveries on a Friday or like a grocery thing, that's when he'll give it to Mark because Mark comes over. They go over his finances and stuff like that. So I like to be in his good graces after the stream on Friday. Is that thump still there? Because now I officially don't have any headphones, do I hate hearing, and it's like, and as somebody I've done, you know, I do voiceover work. I hate hearing the sound of my own voice as I'm saying it in my head, and I always like lower the volume as much as possible in my monitoring the stream, which is why I rely on the earpiece, and I'll say to him sometimes, "Hey, I can't hear you," because I usually have that super. So maybe the thumb's on my end, whatever. Sorry, I know my shitty chair is going to be there, but I gotta get. You know what I'm gonna do on our break? I'm gonna redo my setup here, and I'm gonna get an arm for the microphone. So hopefully the thing. Well, there'll be minimal thumping because I there's nothing that could be thumping right now, unless I'm still connected to him somehow. But what was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, I hate hearing my voice when I'm talking live. It's just distracting to me. So that's why I rely on the earpiece more than the actual sound of the stream. So. Oh, what am I wearing, Cha-Cha? It's nothing special. I'm wearing. I mean, you know, actually, I'm wearing a Salties T-shirt. This T-shirt that Perry also had. It's his character. Basically, it's Salties, which is the fast food chain that Perry's character on Smiling Friends wears in the episode, and I had them make two shirts, one for me and one for him. So yeah, I'm wearing that. It's not about the sound of my recorded voice. I hear that plenty because, you know, I kind of do it for a living, so I don't mind hearing it. Like for instance, if I've done like audiobooks and stuff like that, so I've had to like listen back extensively, and that I don't mind. It's the live in the moment thing, and then I'm also connected to the phone with Perry, and that's like not exactly live. Like there's a little bit of a delay, so it drives me a little crazy sometimes. So I always mute the stream feed. I lower it as much as possible. I'm sure this interests nobody, but thing. Johnny Pratt says, I've been going back to much older stream. When did Tom start narrating the streams? I don't narrate the streams, but I became more because the things it got a little too exhausting to direct him 100% in his earpiece. You know, like hey, pay attention to this, and it just got more easier to just do everything on in mic as much as possible. And I think it made him a little more engaging. So I want to say that happened maybe March, February, March, around there, something like that. March more prominently, February a little bit more. And also I didn't have the microphone figured out. There was I think we did an after hours at one point where I was not an after. I guess it was an after hours. It wasn't really an after hours. It was before we officially coined this as after hours. It was actually part of the stream where like the stream ended and then we were just kind of doing extra stuff and I was talking and then Perry came back. I think it was the first. It might have been the first time we did like an after hours and whatever. I was playing around with the settings of the microphone and I for whatever reason I was able to I didn't care since it was technically after the stream, so I was toggling around different settings and I was able to dial it in pretty good. And then once that happened, it was easier for me as the director to do less direction and more participation, if that makes sense. And it's always about finding the balance. Like I was, like tonight, for example, I let him run. I usually let him run as long as possible, and then if I notice he's losing steam or whatever, I'll interject here and there. If I notice there's something to point out, mailbag, whatever. But these are things that I would do. I'd still be talking to him plenty. You guys just weren't hearing it. Like, okay, get another mailbag, open it. Things that, let's say he did tonight. I would just say, I don't know, like pay attention, stuff like that. I'm trying to think now. It's been so long. It feels like those streams are like ages ago. Like it feels like those streams were in black and white. Like that's how long ago it feels. But and I think that's kind of the goal, not the goal, but that's kind of what I'm going for with Wednesdays with the media share, is kind of letting him kind of what they were like, because I'm focusing on other things and Joey is as well, because we're reviewing video and stuff like that. So I kind of take a back seat a little bit. So yeah, but yeah, and the short answer to the question is probably around March, but I don't know. I can't give you a specific thing. But that's cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people, and I'm going to be putting more stuff on YouTube once we get deeper into the fall. I feel like this is the last summer's over, which is crazy. Perry tripping and knocking over the chili all over still cracks me up. Yeah, we've talked about that many times. That's the moment that I think sealed the deal for. That's the moment that sealed the deal for PCL. We can tell because souls repeat you. Yeah, he would repeat like I would give him like, especially very early on. I consider that like. And in fact, I consider those streams like the training wheel streams. Like I literally have to give him things to say. Like, thank you for subscribing. I would say, thank you for subscribing. And he would say, thank you. And now he does it on his own. Most of the time. I'd say 90% of the time. Sometimes I'll have to come in and be like, thank you for subscribing. And then he'll do it. But back then, yeah, he and he's not the greatest. he's not the greatest performer when it's hard. And honestly, think about this. Think about like from his end and how hard I can complain how hard my job is, or Joey how his job hero down the line, but he not now, but back then. He's doing a live stream. He's looking at his camera. He's never done this before. This is new to him. So I'm saying like this is like let's pick a month. Let's say December. Good night, Cha-Cha. Sweet dreams. I'll see you on Sunday. He's doing that. He's got me in his ear, and he's navigating all the ins and outs of the stream because it's new. So he's getting comments to come in. He's commenting on that, and then occasionally I'm coming in his ear to give him direction. Like, and I'm trying to think of the things that, sometimes I'd get mad. And by the way, I have now just developed a completely different way of handling certain things. Like even as recently as a couple months ago, I would get mad where I'd be like, Perry, God damn it, pay attention, or look at this. Now I'm much more laid back with it because I really, Perry's just going to be Perry, and I can't. I get annoyed sometimes where he doesn't pay attention to certain things. Now, I'm not talking about tip comments necessarily. I'll replay those, if they don't come in. But early on, it was. I think it was very confusing for him, and I think for all the stuff that he had to put up with. I'm trying to say that he did a good job of pulling it together, even though sometimes it didn't always click right. You know what I mean? So it's a learning curve. It still is. It still is a balance to it because I want him to run. He's never going to be able to run the stream. I have to run the stream, but I know some people like my interaction with him, and some people probably don't. And I think if I was on the outside looking in, I probably wouldn't. But I always bring it back to like Eric the actor from Howard Stern, if anybody knows who that is. And I remember they when Howard Stern first went to Sirius, they made a big deal like, oh, we're going to give this person a show and this person a show because he had his own network, two channels, and like Eric the actor, Eric the midget / actor, was going to get his own show. And I was excited. I remember it was like, oh, it's whatever time it was, 7 p.m. I was glued to the radio. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And there was this other guy talking him through it, and like, and I remember people like, there was no live chat, but people like on the internet, whatever, were complaining that guy was talking too much, and I was one of them. I was like, oh, I want to hear Eric, and then I realized that, oh, Eric couldn't do that on his own. There's no way he could do that on his own. There's no way. He needs that guy. Now maybe that guy was talking too much, and maybe I'm guilty of that at times as well. But he had to, it was like pulling teeth getting Eric to say anything. So the guy was working overtime. So now, looking back, I have way more respect for that. And I don't remember who the guy was. I don't remember. I just remember being excited to listen to it and then being really disappointed. And then you realize, oh, Eric needs somebody else to make him, shine. And it just didn't work. And I think he needed Howard specifically. Mole Cola says, I think the stream got better once you got on mic. It's a good balance. You and Perry's voice, great. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, it's a balance. We're like the really odd couple. Yeah. Yeah. And Garrett says when Eric hosted those shitty country online radio shows, it was so hilarious. Yeah. I really miss Eric the actor. I was talking to somebody who wrote me randomly. We were talking about Eric the actor, and I remember he used to have an Amazon wish list, and I think I spent close to $2,000 buying him stuff off the Amazon wish list, and I got a thank you note once in that entire time. Mr. S, if you do a great job back and forth with Perry, TomB's made the stream better. Thank you. But it's a balancing act for sure. There's times where I just let him run for as long as possible, and there's other times where there's little tricks I've learned. I try not to lose my cool anymore because I would get like even like I'd be like, Perry, sit down. I know he's always gonna come back. so I don't stress. And I used to stress too about the timing of the stream, even like with like putting streams up on YouTube. Like when he'd go to the bathroom, I'd want to like cut down his bathroom breaks because there was no Ricky Horny then. There was no like me talking. It was just like complete dead air. Now I just kind of let those moments go because I know people kind of get the balance of the stream and they know the nature of it. So I'm really I'm really more lax on my reactions to him, doing certain things for the most part. Did Perry really get pissed with PCL because he couldn't get to his porn? I don't know if that was the case tonight, but that's definitely been the case in the past. Definitely. The Stand tried to buy out Compound Media recently. Really? What a terrible investment that would be. Frank Scaramanga. That's a very Bondian name. The dude with Eric was always annoying. You're funny and engaging. I appreciate that. That's very nice. I don't remember who the guy was. I honestly, I'm just going by memory. I only heard it like, God, what was that? 2006. What's crazy to think about? Perry was reading that letter about the Wario games, and it said the last console game came out, WarioWare console game came out in 15 years ago. And as he was reading that, I looked it up, and it was 2006, and I was like, wow, 2006 is 15 years ago, which is crazy to me. I don't know about how it feels to you guys, but God, 2006 doesn't feel that long ago to me. And to put it in context, it's 15 years ago. So that's crazy. I don't think of it as like recently, of course. I know it was a quote unquote long time ago, but wow, 15 years ago is insane. So that's when Howard went to Sirius. 15 years, it's insane. Ricky Horny song made Sneaky Peas way more manageable. Apparently, there's somebody remixed the Ricky Horny song. I've yet to hear it, but maybe we'll mix it up. Maybe we'll put in some Ricky Horny remix or something like that, because I don't want to burn out on not me, but I don't want people burning out on Ricky Horny. Beethoven is shit and Charles Grodin ruined his legacy with it. Wow, I've never seen Beethoven movies. Smooth Moves was your second. I never played any. I'm actually gonna dig out my Wii, or the Wii U rather. I have a pretty good hacked Wii U that plays just about anything, and it's like sitting in a box. I think I might hook that up and play some old, get some of that because I've never played any of those WarioWare games. So I'd like to check out some of the old ones. I'm doing this thing where I got to figure out like. I'm gonna be mounting this TV to the wall, and I'm gonna like be drilling stuff into the sheetrock, and like snake through like an HDMI cable and stuff like that. And I'm trying to find out a way to get a Wii sensor bar like snaked through the wall. So I looked on Amazon, and they have like extensions for it, but there's wireless ones too. I don't trust the wireless, but I was like, on the off chance I want to play the Wii. I want to have the sensor bar there, so I got to like plan that out. I got to get like a really long, robust sensor bar cable. I was hoping like some third party made it, but they don't. But and I agree. Phantom Green says hacked Wii U is godly. Plays GameCube. Yeah, if you can get your hands on a Wii U specifically, it's the gold standard for hacked consoles because you can literally play everything on it. Every Wii game, every GameCube game, every WiiWare game, on and on and on. It's a pain in the ass to do how to do it, but you can hack it to shit and like literally have a hard drive or an SD card and load them up with games and just be on your merry way. It's a great hacked system. The Wii is too, but if you get the Wii U, it's even better because that has an HDMI out, and then you can get Wii U games and stuff. So. See, I didn't find it super easy. I found installing Homebrew on the Wii U was easy, but getting it actually hacked to play like ISOs and things like that's trickier, and it's hard to find good tutorials on it. In fact, I gotta check to see if it's still hacked. I gotta feel that. I'm going back a little bit here. Liz asked, "Did I ever burp back in Perry's face?" No, I don't burp. Very rarely, and if I do, it's not that loud, and I'm embarrassed by it. Like I think. Bobby asks, "How long have I been tard wrangling?" Well, that I don't consider Perry a tard, but how long have I been working with Perry? Getting into Johnny Pretzel's territory, but shit, it's been a while. It's been a while. We're gonna be going on 10 years eventually, but right now, let's see. Let me think about. I have to think about that. 8 or 9 years, maybe closer to 9 years. Uh, Jesus says, Tom, we should play some Coop NES slash SNES games on Switch. Every game is on. Yeah, you know what? I know that. I didn't know that the NES and SNES games were online. I would definitely do that. In fact, I'm gonna play some Switch when I get off here, I think. Um, it's easier if you hack it through the Wii emulation. If anybody has a good guide on how to really hack the Wii U, now I've done like I have homebrew installed. I have like the homebrew channel on there and everything like that, but I don't have. I don't think I have it to set to where I can play like GameCube games because I think that hack came out later. Because I think at first you couldn't play GameCube games on the Wii U, even hacked, and then somebody figured it out. And now you can. And I have a GameCube too. I have all the systems except the 64. I sold the 64 years ago, and I wish I didn't. Geez, what's the podcast where Tom B is mentioned for the first time? I was involved well before I was actually mentioned, but I believe if you look up August or September 2013, around there, that's probably where I was first mentioned. Yeah, but I would do those online. It's just you know what sucks about the Switch too. It's nice to have NES and SNES games, but their game lineups. I mean, they got the classics on there, but you know the way they choose to release those games. I mean, it was supposed to be like once a month. Now it's like whenever they feel like it, and it's always some weird title that no one cares about. So I don't do that. Yeah, that's what I want, Fennegan. I want an EverDrive for this N64. Since emulate, and you say it right, emulators for the N64 are complete trash. I agree. That's what I want. I want to go on eBay at some point, buy a Nintendo 64, and then have it modded for like HDMI and everything, and then get the EverDrive and load all the ROMs in there. And to be honest, there's only about 20 games on the N64 that are worth anything, worth playing, replayability. Oh, Phantom Green says, follow Jack Sorrell, guys, for Wii U hacking. I do, and the guy's voice is hypnotic. He's like, where is he from? He's from Wales or something like that, and he's got this sing-songy accent to him. He's like, if you ever look, this guy Jack Sorrell, and I'm being super pigeonholed here into this topic of like hacking your Wii U, but he comes on, he's like, this is Jack Sorrell, and welcome to another Wii hacking game. I'm going to show you how to hack your Wii U for the... And he's got... I can't even do it right. He's just got this strange way of speaking. But I don't think... this is Jack Sorrell. And he, like, holds the L's. And it's hilarious. But, yeah. But I don't think on YouTube you're allowed to do... He does tutorials for... homebrew, which is different from the actual like hacking, like how to play like literally ripped ISOs. I think that's illegal on Twitch, but if he has those tutorials, I'll check that out too. And Jesus, yes, I heard that. And Perry, and by the way, Perry is going to be doing a giveaway for a rare Nintendo. I guess we'd call it a console, but yes. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I agree with that. You got the EverDrive for the Genesis just because of the console's audio chip. Yeah, that's one thing that emulators have never been able to perfectly replicate is the sound quality on some of those Genesis games. So you probably... Normally, I would say it's not necessary to get an EverDrive for like an NES or an SNES because any emulator can run that fine, but Genesis is a good call for that because they'll just sound better because that has an amazing sound chip. But yeah, fuck, I'll have to rip a Jack Sorrell video and play it here and that so people can understand what we're talking about because I'm trying to. He just has this very rhythmic thing. Really, can you install the ISO launcher the same way as Homebrew? And you'll have to walk me through that. I gotta look at it. I gotta dig it out. And can you? And can you? Here's another question. If I have like a 1 terabyte SD card, can I just load that into the Wii U and put ISOs on there and have it read it, or do I need an external hard drive for it? That's another question I have. People love the Nintendo 64, but the only games that hold up were the ones released in the first year. Graphics and gameplay really went downhill after a certain point. I completely agree with that. All the best games, like Mario 64, and all, it's really mostly first-party games. Mario 64, Mario Kart, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and what's the other? I'm missing the other one. Majora's Mask, maybe. Oh, yours. Okay, that's what I was wondering because I read some things that you couldn't, like, it was better to have an external hard drive. I'd rather just have it on the SD card. And there was a Jack Sorrell video on how to format an SD card for the Wii U that was above 32 gigabytes. So I'm going to be watching him tomorrow. Jack Sorrell, and I'm going to tell you how to. Like, what does he say? Like, how to modify your 32 gig SD card to high, whatever. It's, I don't know. Now I got them on the brain. Even a disc works. I'd rather not use discs. I'm so over discs. Sega Saturn better than N64. I never played it. No, and I never played Quest 64. My Nintendo 64 was very limited. I was into the system, but I was into it for like the first 2 or 3 years. I remember being all over Mario 64. I loved that game. I mean, that's my favorite game on the system. Mario Kart 64, of course. GoldenEye, of course. Perfect Dark. Oh my God, Perfect Dark I played to death. Shadows of the Empire. Trying to think what else. I mean, there wasn't that many great games for it. We're going back and forth between like old comments and new comments. I'm going to say I watched the New Year's Eve stream and knew everything Tom was saying despite not hearing him. Yeah, I guess if you go back and watch an older stream, knowing what you know now, you could probably figure out what I'm saying to him. Absolutely. I'd like to get into Saturn. I never had the Saturn, never played it, but I'd like to get. Can Saturn be emulated? Is it? Can you emulate a Saturn pretty well, or is it the same case as N64 where it's hit and miss? I like Sundays right now. A lot of great gags from the subs, and it's a different with each call. Yeah, I agree. I like Sunday as well. I like Sunday because I can take little breaks when he gets on the phone. I hate when Perry hangs up on people on Sundays because that means I got to rush back to the screen, and sometimes I don't make it in time. Like I'll go out for some fresh air. I'll go to the bath. I didn't go to the men's room once tonight. I'll go on Sundays. I'll get up and get a drink. Sometimes I'll get a little snack, and that's why I hope the calls go long. Oh, Saturn emulation's pretty bad. Okay. Right. So how do you play Saturn? Do you actually have to have? Is there something like an EverDrive for Saturn? Can you do that? Oh, Faster Blade. The guy who was on with Eric the Actor was the American Idol guy that left the show. Brian Dunkelman. I don't know why I remember that name. If we can get Perry a Dreamcast, maybe him take care of the scene. Joey says, no matter how great you are at something, a section of people will always bitch about it. Look at Mozart or Beethoven on YouTube, arguably the greatest in their fields, and they still have thousands of dislikes. That's a fair point. Yeah, I always say too, like no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're putting yourself out there in any way, whether it's Perry Caravello Live or any kind of stream or whatever, you're always going to have detractors. Always. I mean, it's just the way it is, and I think if you get 90% of people liking you, you're doing something right, because you're always going to have people that are not into it for whatever reason. So that's the way I look at it. Now, do I necessarily want to be confronted with it? Because I get some, not so much lately, but I've gotten people like write me like "F you, I hate your guts, I hope you and your family dies," like, But I try to take that with a grain of salt, but sometimes it gets a little rough. There's just some weirdos out there. Am I going back to Paris for another TomB week, Halloween week? I can't guarantee that at this time, but I would like to. I love the emoji party in the chat when Ricky Horny plays. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of trippy. I like that too. I wish there was some kind of effect we can put over the screen that was like dancey, or like like change colors or something like that. Maybe I'll look into that. So how do you do the does the Dreamcast have an EverDrive thing? Can you hook up, like, is there a way to hack that? Because it's disc based, isn't it? Can you do EverDrive with disc based? But I'm dig. That's my Saturday thing, is I'm gonna dig that Wii U out tomorrow, because I really want to play that old. I'm addicted to that Wario. That's why I'm super into this Wario thing, because I'm addicted to that Wario demo, WarioWare demo. I mean, it's only like they only have a couple of few things, but I've been playing it crazy, like crazy, I should say. You can burn games off the bat as long as they're properly formatted. It seems like a pain in the ass. And how much is a used Dreamcast? And what are the games on Dreamcast? Like, I know there was like, again, I don't. That was a weird period for me. Like that time where it came, what did it come out in '98? I'm gonna say. I wasn't really into. I wasn't really doing any gaming at the time. I think I was kind of over the 64, but I was still playing certain games, and then I didn't get another console until the GameCube, and I wasn't a PlayStation guy at that time either. Yeah, let's hook up the Tom got me wanting to hook up my Wii U. I got a spare HDMI. Let's hook up our Wii U's and see what's on there, because there's some games on there, like some Wii U games that haven't been ported. Most of the cool ones, like I always wanted to play Super Mario 3D World, and I never had it because I had a Wii U, but there was so many things going on in my life that I never really got to dedicate myself to it. Jesus has an extra Dreamcast I can have. I don't want to take your Dreamcast. That's super generous of you, but thank you. But yeah, I'd have to figure out. Oh, Crazy Taxi. That's right. That and House of the Dead. I remember those being two big games on there. Yeah. Three Dreamcasts. Jesus. Wow. Have a good night, Aloof One. Sweet dreams. Talk to you on Sunday. The only system I own now is a Vectrex. What else? What I mean, because can you still play Super Mario Maker on the original Super Mario Maker on Wii U? Oh, Jack Sorrell has his guides for putting the launchers on his Wii U. It's on the playlist. Okay, so you can't search for it. Okay, I'll look for that, because I'm gonna have to really dive deep on that tomorrow. But yeah, look, if you have an extra Dreamcast, I'm not gonna say no, because I ideally would like to have every system. And I right now I have an NES Classic, which is hacked, of course. NES Classic, which is hacked, of course. So I have all those games, and I think those are fine. NES, SNES are fine for emulators, and I have the Genesis Classic. That's fine for me for emulators. And then I would like a 64. I'm gonna looking to get one of those. I would like a Dreamcast, and then the rest of the way I'm good because I think the Wii U, a hacked Wii U, covers everything else. You got your GameCube on there. You got your Wii and Wii U games, and then eventually, whenever the next Nintendo system comes out, I'm sure somebody will figure out a way to hack the Switch, which is dangerous to do now because you don't want to get banned. I'm still catching up on old chats. Ex Happy Time Harry. I didn't know you were almost going to move Perry out to live with you not too long ago. I'm glad Perry. I'm glad for Perry and your success with PCL. So that didn't need to happen, but it was great to hear. You are a true friend to Perry. Thank you. That's nice of you to say. Yeah, it came. Look, it didn't come to the point where I moved him out, but I was looking at options. That's why that Goonies scene. I haven't seen the Goonies since I was a kid, but that scene hit something in me when I saw it. Chunk talking to Slob, as Perry would say, is that he was going to move him in. He's going to live with him now. Like that came close, and I actually, I've talked about it before, but Perry, things were starting to get really strained financially, and keeping him basically. Bailing out water on the Titanic with a shot glass as it's going down is what I was doing, and he wasn't getting any support from his family in terms of like having a place to stay. His cousin Sam has a small apartment. His cousin Mark has a small apartment. That wasn't going to work. Cousin Kenny, I've said in Arizona, was going to put him up for like 6 months. I think he said was his tops, and then Perry would be on his own. And think, oh, Perry can get a job and get his own place in Arizona. That was like the talk. I was like, well, that's never going to happen. That's never going to work. And then he had another nephew in Boulder that was kind of the same deal. It was like, stay for me for a little while, and then you have to find something else. So I had said to him, I was like, look, Perry, you can come move with me. You can come live with me. If it really comes down to it, I'll come out there. We'll put some stuff in storage, and you just live in New York for a while. That's where we were. I don't remember the exact month that conversation, but we had the conversation, and it was close to happen, close to happening, but obviously it didn't happen, and PCL came about, and that was nice. That was nice. What's the word? It was a nice exit from that scenario of having to not not go that route, because I don't know what my life would be very different right now. That's for sure. I don't know what it would be like, or how you can turn that into some kind of I don't know what. Maybe we would have done streams in person together, and it would be a very different thing. Johnny Pretzel says Perry and Tom could turn into a sitcom, and it would be better than 99% I've seen, even if I had no script, pilot actors, shit cameras too. Thank you. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll do. Yeah, I do want him to come to New York at some point, and he's and he will stay with me, so I'll get a taste of what that could have been. Atari Jaguar was better than the N64. Never had that either. I hate Atari so much. Like, I can't trust them again. Like you know, I'm old enough. You know, I'm in my mid 40s, so I remember the 2600, and I just thought that was such a piece of shit. You know, even then when it was new, as much as I played it, I knew it was garbage, and it was better out there. That's why I love Nintendo so much. Is it was such it came to me at the right time, the right I was the exact right age for it when the NES, because I was, you know, they say the burnout of the video game industry, you know, with ET, they always use ET as like the template. It wasn't ET, at least not for me. ET was trash, but they were all trash. Raiders of the Lost Ark video game was trash. The Empire Strikes Back video game was trash. They were all trash. And I got duped into it every time. I felt like Perry. I'd see the box like, oh, well, this looks like a great game. And then you'd put it in it would still be garbage. So I was, by the time I kind of just phased out of Atari, and I had friends that had like other Atari. There was another Atari that came out after the 2600, was the 8600 or something like that, and I didn't care about it or anything. And then the Nintendo came out, and I remember seeing the commercials, and they had that Rob the Robot thing, and I was like, that looks stupid. And then I went over a friend's house, and he had the NES with Rob and everything, and I was like, he said, do you want to play Nintendo? And I was like, you know, yeah. I guess I said yeah. I don't remember. Maybe I said, I guess, I don't know if it took much prodding, but I was like, and then he had the Rob thing set up, and I was like, what's the deal with this? He's like, oh, I don't even play that. I don't even play that. Oh yeah, the 7800 for the Atari. I remember that. That didn't do anything for me. And it wasn't the 50. It was the one with the really loose joystick that had the buttons on it. The Atari one. It was just weird. Anyway, so I remember playing. He's like, forget about that. And then he put on. It wasn't Super Mario. It was Duck Hunt. The first game I played was Duck Hunt, with the gun, and I was intrigued by that you could shoot a gun. I was like, oh, this is different, and the colors were nice. And then after Duck Hunt, I think we played maybe Rad Racer or something, and then Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. I played on my own. It wasn't Super Mario Bros. It was a couple of games, and then but there was something like, oh my God, I need this. And then you know, I asked for it for Christmas, and God, I think I told the story. I won't get into it again, but my parents were out one night with my sisters at a Christmas recital for my sisters, and I just went on a mission to go sneaking around the house to find out, because I knew I was getting the Nintendo, and I just went on a mission to find it, and I did find it. It was wrapped up in Christmas paper, and I carefully took it out, hooked it up, played maybe an hour and a half of Super Mario Brothers, and it was just love. It was love at first sight. I just had, so I always have such fondness for Nintendo, because it brought me back to video games after I'd been jaded. And it was great, and yeah, and then I think I never got the Sega Master System, because I looked at that as competition, and I'm obscenely loyal to a fault, and I get brand loyal, and I wouldn't support anything Sega. But then I did eventually get a Sega Genesis after it had been out for a while, when it was bundled with Sonic. I did buy that, and I felt like I was cheating on Nintendo, because I didn't, the Super Nintendo hadn't come out yet, and I remember feeling really dirty about plugging that thing in and playing a different. That was the first console I had since Nintendo, and I felt really dirty about it. Still do. I still play it and feel guilty. I'm such a Nintendo loyalist. Somebody asked if I had any update about the Vegas PCL Live event. I don't. I think a lot of things have to change. I think you know, this fucking Delta bullshit has to be over with. You know, there's still travel restrictions, and you know, and I'd like to build up our audience a little bit. You know, we're getting an average of like, you know, 600 people per stream with just Twitch, you know, which has been built up over time since we stopped streaming on YouTube. And I think most people that watched on YouTube have come over, but a lot haven't. And I think once the fall happens, the summer's over, and you know, I think once the stream starts building up, you know, you need a sizable audience. um, to fill a room, because right now you have 600 people. Like, not every 600 person, not every person on the stream is going to come out. So I wouldn't want it to be, you don't want to fill a room with like 30 people or whatever. But yeah, I definitely want to do it. It's definitely something I definitely want to do. But whether it's going to happen this fall, I can't say that. I don't think so, honestly. Probably we're looking probably at 2022 for that, if we're being realistic. There's a lot of things that goes into that, event planning, finding a venue, booking a venue, and then we got to do some kind of thing. TomB, do I think I will ever get more than 17 viewers? Jesus Christ, I should hope so. I'm with Perry. I would not stream for 17. I would turn it off. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Oh, Jesus says, you sold video games for years. I didn't know that. You have a stock, not a big deal. See, don't go anywhere. I'll whatever it costs, I'll pay for it. But I've always been curious about the Dreamcast. I really have been curious about the Dreamcast. Is that Perry's manager speaking? If you want to call me that, I guess I'll go with that. Johnny Pretzel says, I found PCL because an old After Hours popped up in my suggestions because of all the Perry-related content. And was floored because of the lack of kayfabe. I love that term, kayfabe. Yeah, and I by the way, I can't promise you when we do that thing where Perry and I talk about how we meet. Perry has a very different interpretation of how we met each other. So I'll have him tell his version. We'll tell it together. But he thinks he met me at the Laugh Factory in late '90s. That didn't happen. Mike and Oz, thanks for answering. By the way, anybody that comes over for Australia would be amazing in Vegas, and I would like to do a PCL live meetup in Australia, or you guys do a live. Fucking Australia is so crazy off the chart with PCL right now. It is so crazy off the chart. Like, it's just, when I look at the statistics of it's like Twitch will give you a breakdown of where the regions. Australia is huge. I don't know, is Twitch huge in Australia, and that's why there's just more Australians? Why? I mean, because North America is obviously number one, but outside of that, Australia is number two with a bullet. It's not even close. As far as other territories, other continents, countries that watch. Like Europe. There's other thing. South America a little bit, but fucking Australia is huge. I would love to go to Australia. Okay, geez, that sounds cool. I have access to I can pretty much download any ISO ever for any system, because I have I'm on this one game tracker that just literally has everything. Um, but you only watch Twitch for PCL, okay? Australia is a prison colony now. Have you heard what their secret police are doing? We got to get more Australian calls too on Subscriber Sunday. I know that's an off time for you guys, but it'd be nice to get some more Australian calls. I know, like Friday, like right now, this is probably the best time for the fans in Australia. I know because I had mentioned last week that we might be switching up some of the times, and I'm not crazy, but on Wednesday, for instance, maybe trying an afternoon stream for Wednesday, like we do on Sunday, and then I got more than one Australian fan just oh, please don't do that, please, Friday is my the Friday mailbag, which is Saturday morning afternoon here, is perfect for me, and I think we're gonna Don't worry, I'm gonna keep Friday the way it is. If anything, with Friday, maybe I'd make it an hour earlier, like make it 5 p.m. Pacific rather than 6 p.m. Just because maybe 9 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. East Coast time is a late start for a lot of people. Maybe I'd make it an hour earlier, but yeah. And by the way, Perry doesn't realize that Chet is Australian. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, but yeah. I have a Jaguar. It's trash. I trust your judgment, Jesus. Okay, I don't know anything about Jaguar. I remember really wanting to get a TurboGrafx 16 when that first came out, more so than the Genesis. I remember like thinking that looked cool, but uh, it just never. I don't know anything about it really. But I would get the TurboGrafx 16 Classic if you can hack it and like put maybe games on it. Like I would like to have that. I like having the collection of like all those emulated systems. But again, for the systems you can't emulate, like the Dreamcast or the 64, I'd want the OG hardware and just get an EverDrive for it. Oh, I read that wrong. Mike and I said any Vegas on the 7th of July for 2022. That could be possible. That could be possible. Garrett asked, and again, I'm catching up on small things. Favorite board game back in the day. When I was a little kid, my favorite board game was Candyland. Candyland was that's it's just it was so attractive. I also liked Shoots and Ladders. But yeah, Shoots and Ladders and Candyland, and I had board games from game shows that I liked. Like I had the Family. Oh, I really was into the Family Feud at home game, the home game for the Family Feud, and I always liked that gag. I always liked that gag in The Running Man where Richard Dawson is talking about having the home game for the Running Man, because it's so great because they always would advertise the home game of the Family Feud, and there was always like a new edition coming out. I also had the home game for The Price is Right, and that was way too complicated for a kid. It wasn't as fun, but the family you had the board for the Family Feud, and you can like slide it and everything like that. And I always like pretending that was Richard Dawson. When like family gatherings, I'd whip out the Family Feud game. Wheezy Jefferson says, "Fun idea, Tom B. On your next trip to Perry's apartment, steal several insignificant items, return them later as Christmas gifts." That's funny. Yeah, Running Man is really good. It's one of my favorite It's kind of the under the radar Schwarzenegger movie because I'll take that over Predator any day of the week. I'm not huge on on Predator. I mean, I like it. It's fine, but I think Running Man's so much better. Running Man was my everyday VHS when I was like, yeah, I think I was the same. I think I had that. I got it on whatever, watched it on video, whatever. I think I had that movie memorized, and I haven't seen it in a long time, and I could still pretty much quote it. And Richard Dawson's so great in Running Man too. He's like he really because he's an actor first, and then he became a game show host. And I know there's stories about him where he was kind of an asshole as the host of Family Feud, whatever, which I guess they played up in Running Man. But man, he was just perfect in that movie. And I agree. Predator is the perfect action movie, but it Predator feels like Friday the 13th with Marines, except the teenagers are Marines and the Predator is Jason. Predator just follows the template of a slasher movie, except it's not summer camp; it's a jungle, and the characters are more interesting and dynamic. And I know that's minimizing it, but it just doesn't hit me the way Predator is talked about as like it's the ultimate Schwarzenegger movie. I just don't think it is for me. I like it and I enjoy it. Good night, Omega Cloud 86. Here lies Sub Zero, now Plane Zero. See, I think Running Man and Commando have the best Schwarzenegger one-liners between those two movies, and I like Commando a lot too. It's like, hey Sully, remember when I said I'd cue you last? That's right, Matrix. You did say that. I lied. And then it goes on because he goes back to Ray Dong Chung, and she's like, "Oh, what happened to Sully?" He's like, "Oh, I let him go." It's just so perfect. Not that Commando's on the same level as Running Man is not, but it's very enjoyable. Yeah. Yeah, can't beat the soundtrack. Don't dude, me bro. Commando's great. Last Action Hero, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't love Last Action Hero. And maybe I need to see it. It's a movie I probably need to see again with adult eyes. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and it just fell flat. It came out the same time as Jurassic Park. Maybe it came out a week later, and it just felt so irrelevant. And I thought the meta-ness it was going for fell short. But that's me watching it as a kid when it came out. Like now watching it, maybe I would kind of get what they were going for. I didn't like the tongue-in-cheekness of it. I didn't like the it was a little too goofy for me. But I'd have to watch it again. I'll watch it. I'll watch it again. Raw Deal is another one I don't remember anything about, and I never saw Red Heat. So I should probably do like a trifecta of like Red Heat, Raw Deal, and Last Action Hero. And I think we've said, and maybe you're right. Maybe it is ahead of its time. Maybe it is because I don't think people were ready for it. It really hurt him in terms of, thank God he had True Lies the next year, which I think we've talked about. Is to me that's the ending. That's the end of his run, of his classic run. True Lies is you've reached the end with True Lies. I know Eraser, some people like that. I don't think Eraser is that good. It's not of the same quality. What was the one where Arnold was the undercover cop in the mob? Frank Pizza. I don't. That's not ringing a bell for me. I never saw End of Days either. End of Days is a Schwarzenegger movie I've never seen. I remember End of Days because, ironically, End of Days is the last ever Laserdisc release. At least in North America, I think it's the last Laserdisc that was ever pressed. And I had a Laserdisc player. I was big into Laserdisc, and the last Laserdisc is End of Days, which I found interesting. That's like a useless Laserdisc trivia thing. But True Lies is fantastic, and I think the real revelation of True Lies is how great Tom Arnold is in it, because Tom Arnold at the time that movie came out, not that he's anything great now, but Tom Arnold gets a lot of street cred because of how good he is in that movie, and before True Lies, he was just Roseanne's annoying new husband. I think they were divorced by the time that came out. And he was just annoying. And then I remember seeing him that he was cast, and I was like, oh my, Tom Arnold, what the hell? Like, how did he get cast? I want to know. They did do a documentary. How did he even get cast in that movie? But then you see it, And I saw True Lies in the theater, and I was very hesitant about Tom Arnold, and he was great in it. Has great chemistry with Schwarzenegger, to the point where I'm surprised they never did another movie together. He's so good in it. And then it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's really, I think True Lies. I haven't seen it, but I'd imagine it still holds up. But no matter what else, whatever Tom Arnold did in his career after that, he's good in. He has got a good bit in the first Austin Powers, and I don't know. I don't think I really. I think we talked about that movie Big Bully at one point with Rick Moranis. He's good in that too, but he shines in True Lies, and I'm surprised they never made a sequel to that. That's a good point, Mumbles. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Dane Cook either, but very good in Mr. Brooks. And there's some cases for that where somebody that's really irritating and annoying, like like most comics annoying, and uh, the and then they do a turn in some movie, and it's great. Joey, the movie you're talking about where they stole the minivan, I think that's The Stupids. I think, yeah, because he did Big Bully with and that's one of Rick Moranis' last movies. Um, he did Big Bully, which is a weird movie, but it kind of works in a way. I used to see it on HBO quite a bit. And he the Big Bully. I think the plot line was Big Bully was Tom Arnold bullied Rick Moranis as a kid, and now years later in high school, Rick Moranis has a kid who's bullying Tom Arnold's son, and Tom Arnold is still bullying Rick Moranis. But I remember liking it. I remember liking it because Rick Moranis is so good and he was good. Never saw Waiting, didn't see that, but I'll take your word for that. But yeah, I forget. And then Tom Arnold did a couple of movies, but yeah, he never. Oh, it was called Carpool. What? But he did a movie called The Stupids, right? Didn't he do The Stupids where he was like the dad? I don't remember Carpool. Uh, are they actually doing Encino Man 2? Am I excited for it? Did they actually? I know there was. I read something where like Pauly Shore wanted to do Encino Man 2. I'm like, yeah, of course you'd want to do Encino Man 2. And by the way, I'm speaking about Big Bully as if I haven't seen it since like the mid '90s. So don't run out and see it and then get back to me and say it sucks. I get that sometimes. Yeah, there's a couple of people we talk about movies like because they listen to After Hours and they'll hit me up with like different things like, did you see this movie, or did you remember this movie was on HBO in the '80s, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, and like we'll recommend things to each other. And once in a while somebody will email like, hey, I watched that movie you were talking about, it was horrible, and I feel really bad, like, oh, I didn't like I don't take my opinion with a grain of salt. I was like, I forget what movie it was, but the guy was like, and if it was a movie like North by Northwest, I would say, okay, well, you're clearly crazy. You how do you not like North by Northwest? But I forget what it was. It was some kind of thing. I don't remember. It was a while ago now, but I felt really bad. He's like, yeah, it's like the kids went to bed, and I had the TV to myself, and I popped that movie on, and boy, I just didn't get it. And I was like, I felt so bad because I know how precious time is to people to like take the time out to watch a movie, because it is for me. Don't Do Me Bro says, my dad and I bonded over hating Last Action Hero so much that he walked out of the theater early. Wow. Um, yeah, I remember just really not liking it, like shaking my head. End of Days and The Sixth Day was okay. I remember liking The Sixth Day, liking it. Like it had. I remember The Sixth Day very well because it had a hint of classic. It was almost like a cover band of classic Schwarzenegger. It had a hint of what made early Schwarzenegger movies great. but it missed the mark somehow. But it's still it's very enjoyable. Like it's silly. You can't. It's not grounded. A lot of the Schwarzenegger movies were very grounded in their fantastical premises, and Six Day didn't have that. It sounded silly, and I remember who's that guy that's in it? Michael. Shit, he's so annoying. Um, why can't I think of his name? I'm gonna have to look it up. Michael Rappaport. I don't have to look it up. Michael Rappaport really is. He's good in certain things. He's completely miscast in Six Day, and he kind of ruins it for me. And there's Robert Duvall's in it though too, and he does a very good job. It's good. I haven't seen it since it came out. I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember liking it. But that's the last one. There's like mediocre after True Lies. I think Schwarzenegger goes into phase two. Like phase one of Schwarzenegger is all the classics. You got Conan, Terminator 1 and 2, Predator, Running Man, onwards, and forgetting his comedies we don't really count because that's a different subgenre. But True Lies ends phase one of Schwarzenegger, in my opinion. And then Eraser's okay, but it's like phase two Schwarzenegger, where it's like he's almost like they're trying to do Schwarzenegger movie. It's like modern Simpsons. It's like the Simpsons is still the Simpsons, but they're trying to emulate stronger writers of past eras, and they can't do it. Whoever's writing the Simpsons now, they're trying to cover what the writers did, 20 years ago, but they don't have the chops for it. That's how I looked at like Erasure, and it's fine. And then End of Days I didn't see, can't comment on that. And then the Sixth Day, and then there's the one. And then there's Phase 3, Schwarzenegger, which is not good at all. Where Phase 2 also includes Batman and Robin. We can't forget that, where he plays Mr. Freeze. Phase 3 is like the one where he's like the sheriff post Governor Arnold, or with Johnny Knoxville, which is a weird movie. It's okay, but it's like oof, and all the the past two Terminators and things like that. That's phase 3, and let's hope he doesn't have a phase 4. But yeah, I'm not saying Eraser's bad. Eraser, it's fine. It's okay. It's just not on the level of his output of what he was doing. And I think as far as the first comedy he did, well, technically it's Hercules in New York, right? That's his first comedy. But if you're counting like successful Schwarzenegger, yeah, I guess Twins would be his first comedy. I think. I can't think of anything prior to that. But yeah, it was just he could do no wrong for a long time. And yeah, Total Recall too. Although my big gripe with Total Recall is the set design doesn't work for me. I feel like I'm watching a movie. Once he gets to Mars, I feel like all the Mars sets look pretty bad. Yeah, Eraser. I was saying Erasure, like thinking of the band. I think the sets of every time I see it, and I don't know how. I don't think I've ever seen it in HD. Certainly not 4K, but they just look like contained sets. Everything on Mars, with some exceptions, like the whole like small like the town thing where like where the bar is and everything. It just feels like, dang, it just feels off like everything. Joey nails it. Yeah. Erasure. Oh God, I keep saying that. Eraser feels like the time cop of Schwarzenegger's career. That's a great point. That's a great point. And the Mars set looks low budget, but everything else looks. Yeah, it does. But the Mars sets, you spend so much time on the Mars sets, and you really, if the movie's trying to convince you that this is real and he's really going to Mars, I just felt like they should have done more to sell that location. and everything looks like I don't get that from other movies of that time period, where you have a big sound stage or whatever and you dress it up to look like whatever. I just feel like whenever I see clips of Total Recall, and he's on Mars, like whether he's like racing in those cars or whatever, I'm like, oh, this looks like a set. This looks like they filmed it on not even a set, not even a big set, a small set. And I expect more out of Paul Verhoeven, who directed it, the guy who did RoboCop, because that looks phenomenal. I just, I don't know, but that it's a minor gripe. The movie's great. It just takes me out of it. Takes me out of it. And yeah, I know it's an older movie, but there's older movies that look great. I mean, look at any Bond movie from the '60s. Look at You Only Live Twice, for example. I'm just picking a late Connery movie. Those set designs are brilliant, and it looks like you get to the volcano hideout. It looks great, and I don't think I'm watching a set. I think I'm watching the movie. So it's not that old. It's 1990. They had technology at that time to sell a location. It just doesn't didn't do it for me. They really had to nail the set design of that third tit, and Morris had to take budget cuts for it. So that makes sense, Joey. Maybe it's the third tit is what sold it. Johnny Pretz says, if y'all haven't seen JCVD, it's good. I tried watching that on Amazon. I got through a couple episodes, and I think I just stopped. Not because I wasn't enjoying it. It just wasn't engaging me enough to watch more episodes. But maybe I'll get into it. Did they do more than one season of it? I know Claire Huxtable was in it, which was weird. Felicia Rashad. Like she was like his like agent or something like that. So yeah, I like the premise of it, but you know, I felt like it was like if Curb Your Enthusiasm was based on an action star. That's kind of what I think. Oh, the movie, not the show. No, I never saw the movie. I saw the Amazon show with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. I just couldn't get into it. First episode was good, and then it became Strong Woman, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is a fool. Yeah, that I kind of remember that, but it's been a couple of years since I saw it. What's the movie? Is the movie based on the show, or is it like a documentary? New Dune looks like the newer version of it. Yeah, I'm into the new Dune. By the way, they better not fuck with any more release dates. I was so bummed out yesterday. Paramount announced that they were moving Top Gun yet again. It was coming out in November. Now it's coming out in May because of like COVID bullshit. It's just like, man, how much more do you guys want to fuck over theater owners? Like, really? Like they moved Jackass and Mission Impossible and Top Gun. It's like just fuck. If they move Bond again, that's just gonna be that movie's gonna be 2 years old by the time it comes out. More than that. The movie plays himself, but he has to be an action star in real life. Okay. I never saw the Street Fighter movie. Although I always wanted to see Raul Julia always gets kind of props for that movie because, it's obviously a bad movie, but he played it. I'll say this. Speaking of video games, the other day, this just came up in my YouTube suggestions. Like how they have like cut scenes for, you know, people do cut scenes and they basically put it on YouTube. It's like, oh, here's all the cut scenes. For whatever reason, I never got into the Injustice games. Just they just looked, they looked fine to me, but nothing I was interested in. I was like, oh, okay, so this is a game where Superman fights Green Lantern or Batman fights Wonder Woman, and I figured it was like an NES game where you pick people. So I saw the cutscene thing came up. It was like a quick scene actually, from like, oh, it just looked cool, so I clicked on it, and it was a scene of like Batman talking to Superman. And it was Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, which always interests me. So I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And the scene was so good that I was like, what is this? And it was like, oh, Injustice. And I was like, okay, I didn't know there was a story mode. So I ended up going on this search, and it was like all the cutscenes. And I was going to watch like 10 minutes of it. I always do this with like YouTube video. Like, let me see this. And I ended up watching the whole thing. I ended up watching the whole goddamn thing. It was like 2 hours of cutscenes from a fighting game, DC. But it was fucking great. It was fucking great, like really great. Like the story was great, the voice work was great, and it's a fighting game. And it was basically, the story of it is, if you're not familiar, I'm sure most of you are who game, is that it's this alternate. I always like alternate universe stuff with superhero stuff, and it's an alternate universe where the Joker somehow tricks Superman, like brainwashes him into killing Lois Lane, who's pregnant with his kid, and destroying Metropolis with a nuclear bomb or something. And Superman goes crazy, gets enraged, kills the Joker, and this whole trajectory happens where Superman basically becomes bad and has this like one world government, and then most of the superheroes at the time, like Flash and Green Lantern, join him, and it's like this tyrannical thing. Batman, of course, doesn't, and then Batman pulls over superheroes from our timeline, I guess like the main timeline, and they come over and start entering this alternate universe to kind of restore things. And I'm telling you, it was so good. It was so fucking good. I watched it like a movie, and I'm like, and my main takeaway was, how could this stupid fighting game have a better story arc and better performances than any of the DC movies that have come out post the Christopher Nolan Batman? It's better than Man of Steel. It's better than Batman versus Superman, and it's better than the Justice League movie. This was done better, and it was great. I fucking loved it. And of course, I called my friend Brian the next day, who has kids. He's and I said, hey, I gotta send you this thing. I watched this last night. It's cutscenes of this movie, like not movie. It's just cutscenes of this game. He's like, oh. What are you, a moron? You don't know about Injustice? Yeah, my kids play it. It's fucking great. He's like, yeah. He's like, get with it. And he said, kind of like Jesus said, he's like, it's not great to play, but it's great to watch the cutscenes. And then I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna play through Injustice 2, because I didn't see that cutscenes. But I enjoyed it like I enjoyed a great movie. Like it gave me. It gave me those chills that I used to get watching like Batman the Animated Series and stuff. It was such a great story, and it's so silly that it has to be this fighting game, but it was really good. So I don't know, and I'm not a guy that watches cutscenes on YouTube at all, ever. It just came into my algorithm, and I watched it. I fucking loved it. That was my big watch. What was it? When did I watch that? I guess it was Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday? It must have been Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Anyway, yeah, Injustice. Who knew? And I guess it's the same guys that do Mortal Kombat or whatever. It's just they have the property, but it just made me sad that DC can't make decent movies about these characters, but stupid video games can make them. And I think what sold it too is having Kevin Conroy voice Batman, who did, he's the guy that voiced Batman in the original animated series. And if Conroy is not doing Batman, I just don't care, and whether it's a game or an animated. And that's why I'm kind of bummed at the animated. I'd love to watch some animated, Batman stuff, but it's so fragmented where you don't know what's what. Like, I only want stuff that's connected to the Batman of the animated series, and I know they have other, like, there'll be one thing coming out with Kevin Conroy doing the voice, but the the art is weird, and then there'll be one where like somebody else is. If anybody else is doing Batman, I just don't care. And Phantom Green says Conroy's work in the Arkham. Yeah, the Arkham games. I played the first Arkham Asylum, and I think the second one. I haven't played anything else. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Mark Hamill in Injustice, but the guy whoever did Joker in Injustice is excellent. It's very good. It's very good. And because I'm not a Hamill loyalist. I can watch Joker not voiced by Hamill, but I can't watch Batman not voiced by Kevin Conroy. It's weird how that works. Jesus says, watch the Snyder Justice League. I know it's on my to-do list. I'm gonna watch the Snyder Justice League. Maybe when I'm recovering on our little break, I'll watch that. It's like watching new Lord of the Rings. I couldn't believe I was enjoying a superhero movie. That's cool. Johnny Pretz says, hot take: Star Wars straight up sucks except for Rogue One. Boy, that might be a hot take. I'll thoroughly disagree with that. I don't think Rogue One is that good. Although out of all the Disney Star Wars, it's definitely the best. But and yeah, Jesus says every Star Wars fan is shit all over every movie but the first two. I'm kind of in that camp. Yeah, it's Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back for me. Even Return of the Jedi has its moments, but it's very flawed. And then I don't like the prequels, and I sure as fucking hell don't like the sequels. And I'm sure you've heard me go on and on about that plenty, so I won't bore you. But yeah, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan though. I don't. I found those movies. I enjoyed them kind of okay when they came out, but the thought of ever revisiting any of the Lord of the Rings movies is not appealing to me at all. I found them very boring. Astro Alfred says superhero movies are boring to you. Yeah, I guess you got to pick and choose. You know, I mean, my gold standard is always Superman the movie, 1978 Richard Donner film. Christopher Reeve is Superman. That's as good as it gets for me. I love everything about it. I love the soundtrack. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I love everything about that movie. Other than, yeah, I could see a lot of other ones. The only Star Wars movie I enjoyed was the Han Solo film. Ugh, that movie's terrible. Ugh. I don't think it's the worst, but it's just not that good. I remember back when the Lord of the Rings movies came out, like it was weird. They come out like once a year, I guess. Like the first one, it kind of followed like the Harry Potter thing. Like every year, you get Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. As like Lord of the Rings, the first one came out, I think in 2001. The second one came out in 2002, and I think 2003 was the third one. Whatever. I think it was once a year. And then conversely, they come out with these DVDs that would be like, oh, here's the expanded edition. And I remember trying to watch the expanded edition of Fellowship of the Ring because I was kind of into it at the time. Like, okay, the Two Towers is coming out. I'll rewatch this with my girlfriend at the time, and I was so bored. Oh my god! And every now and then, they play in theaters. They play in theaters like the fucking extended versions. The extended versions play in theaters. Like, can you imagine sitting through that in a theater? Oh my god! And I never saw those Hobbit movies. I had no interest whatsoever. Zero interest. I'd watch the Bank Job over one of those, and I'm not watching that either. Joey's going to bed. Good night, Joey, and thanks again for all your help tonight. Man, my eyes are... I don't know if it's just later my eyes are getting that bad. I saw Harry Potter 3 in theaters to get with a chick. I like the Harry Potter movies way more than the Lord of the Rings. And I'm not into either books. I don't read. I never read a Harry Potter book. Never going to read it, and I'm never reading. I'm never reading those Hobbit books ever. I had to read The Hobbit in high school, and I hated hated every syllable of it. Hated it. Couldn't get past certain parts of it. And yeah, but Harry Potter 3, the what is it? Prisoner of Azkaban. That's one of the best ones. That's a fun movie. I like. I will watch the Harry Potter movies at some point in the future, but I will never see the. I'll never read the books, but I'll never see the Lord of the Rings movies again. Just can't. Just can't. Yeah, it's just insufferable to me. And the people that are really into those are weirdos, and forgive me if you're into those. Early 2000s emo chicks were so hot they could make you watch any Harry Potter movie. Yeah, I think because they carried over from like the 90s emo chicks, which are the really hot ones. But yeah, you're not wrong on that. Ooh, only film you ever worked out on was the Elm. I never saw the Elm Street remake. Is that what that? Yeah, that just didn't look right. Didn't look good. I don't like any remakes of classic horror. I hated the Rob Zombie Halloween. Hated it. It was like white trash Michael Myers. Never saw the second one, and didn't bother with the Nightmare. And did never and never saw. I never saw the Friday the 13th remake. Although I heard mixed things about it. Watchmen is the only exception to you hating superhero movies. Astral, I never saw that one. Didn't see it. Didn't For whatever reason I just couldn't get it. Couldn't get interested in it. You're not a Hobbit head, Johnny. Yeah, no, I'm not a Hobbit head. Is that a name? No, it's God. What's the guy's name that starred in Elm Street? I know. I forget the guy's name. Haley something. I think we talked about Jackie Brown. Jesus, I think you got to watch it again with adult eyes. I didn't like it when I first saw it either, but now I really like it. Halloween 2 by Zombies is one of the worst movies ever, says Mumbles. I trust your judgment on that. Again, I'm at a point in time in my life, a phase in my life, um, and also an age where I can't invest my time in a knowingly bad movie. It's just I'd rather do other things. My time is valuable. I work really hard. I've got real work to do. I've got PCL work to do. I've got Perry to take care of. I got a family to take care of. My free time is precious when I have time to watch it, and I'm not gonna sit down and click play on a movie that I know is garbage. Jackie Earl Haley is right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, and he was like in Bad News Bears too. I think Jackie Brown's one of those movies where you just got to see it again. I remember seeing it when it came out, and I wanted like Pulp Fiction 2. I wanted like that kind of, flair, and I didn't get it. And I was too young at the time to kind of get what the movie was, and it kind of bored me in the theater. And I remember walking out and just thinking, man, that was a real bummer. I was really looking forward to that, and then I watched it years later, and I loved it. Got it. Now it's not. Is it my favorite Tarantino? No, it's far from it. But it's great. It's got a lot of great moments too. Johnny Pretzel's Rob Zombie's dialogue sounds like it's written by a 13-year-old boy. Yeah, he's just garbage, and he's doing that Munsters remake TV. How can that be any good? How can anybody? Really enjoy that? Nobody is the only movie you thoroughly enjoyed in forever. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll see it eventually. I haven't seen a new movie in a movie theater in a while. That's true. Jackie Brown's aging theme is hard to get as a kid. The other thing, any kind of aging thing. You know what I saw recently was, not that I saw it for the first time recently. I've seen it many times. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And for some reason, the more I watch it as an adult, the more it hits home with me. The more it gets like, I get so many of the nuances to it that I didn't get as a kid, and especially the themes of the movie about growing older, and still thinking that you're invincible, or whatever, and coming to terms with the fact that you're getting older. And when I saw it recently, man, it just slammed me because I am. I'm a few years away from 50, but it's there. It's in the horizon, and Captain Kirk is turning 50, and like his eyes are going. He has to wear eyeglasses, even though they're kind of antiquated in that time period. And I am now wearing like reading glasses, and there's so many like small moments in that movie that just completely went over my head when I was a kid, completely, like. And I saw Wrath of Khan when it came out in the theater, and I might have mentioned this, but like, I went with a friend and his dad took us to see it, and they didn't check. The dad like didn't check like what time it was playing. We just walked into it as it was playing, like, and we came in at the scene where I remember exactly where we came in. Because every time I see the movie, I get this visceral reaction, where. Kirk's doing the inspection of the new Enterprise before they take off. It's supposed to be a training mission, and we came in at that point, watched the entire movie, the end credits, waited for the next showing. The next showing starts, and then the movie plays up until the inspection, and then we left. It was a terrible way to experience that movie, and I came home like really angry. At my mom, not at my mom, but to my mom. She's like, "Oh, how was the movie?" And I was like, "It was awful. I mean, the movie was great, but we came in late, and we came in as the movie was playing, and then we stayed to the end, and then came. Oh, and my mom was like, "Oh, that's how we used to do it back in the day. We didn't look at movie times. There were no movie times published. That's how we did it." And I was like, "Well, fuck that." I don't think I said "fuck that" to my mom, but I was just like, "Screw that noise. I think that's crap." And then ever since that, I am a Nazi general when it comes to getting to a movie. Like, I am not coming in late to a movie. In fact, if I walk in and the movie's playing, I'm walking out. It's not happening under my watch. But at the same time, though, I won't sit through previews anymore. I hate trailers. I used to love them. I hate them now. And so I'll plan it to like most average 15 minutes to 17 minutes of trailers, and plan it exactly. But anyway, watching Wrath of Khan, because 2, 3, and 4, Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 form a great trilogy. 3 is definitely the weakest out of the trilogy, but it's a great little trilogy within the series. And but 2 just being it, 2's not just a good Star Trek movie; it's a good movie. Period. You don't have to like Star Trek to like it, and it's just a really impactful. And it made me realize that I had to put it in my top 10 of all time, because I have like my list of like how is Wrath of Khan not in my top 10? So I had to kind of redo my list. When they were double features, we'd usually walk in halfway through first double feature. Yeah, I can see that. That's different, because I could see maybe that, but I can't see walking into a movie. Like, you don't know what's going on. It's just, I can't do it. I don't know how anybody ever did that. Alfred Hitchcock was the guy that put that to a stop when Psycho came out. He put out an edict to like the publicity for that movie, for Psycho when it came out. Is like he basically didn't want people allowed to walk in after the movie started, because there's a big reveal in the movie. Oh my god, that new Star Trek show is trash, trash, trash. Which one? There's so many. Discovery, I've never seen. Picard, I saw, and I thought that was garbage. Absolute garbage. Yeah, it's Star Trek's a lot like Star Wars. It's being run by people that don't know anything about Star Trek or what made Star Trek, and it's trash. Absolute trash. Star Trek 2 is the only Star Trek movie you haven't seen. Well, please course correct that immediately. Yeah, I only watched it because they were. I guess it's the 35th anniversary of Star Trek 4, and that was for some reason I just happened to be looking at Movie Times a couple of weeks ago, and I saw Star Trek 4 was playing, and I was like, oh, I like to see that, but then I kind of wanted to see Star Trek 2 and 3 before I did that. But yeah, Picard is such garbage. It really is shameful. I'm very disappointed in Patrick Stewart for even doing it. I mean, that's what makes you bummed out when you really realize that these guys are just hired guns. You pay them enough money, they're going to do whatever. But how he could participate in that show is just beyond me. Maybe they'll do a baby Spock character like Disney did for Baby Yoda. Don't laugh. I could see that happening. I could see them doing that. They're that desperate. I'm actually looking to see. Labor Day weekend was always a good weekend to see, like, because it's always. I think times are different now, but it was always the weekend where the box office was the worst out of the entire year. It was always a terrible box office because nobody went to the movies, and they would always like play older movies. But I don't see that happening. I'm just looking to see if any theaters have any cool movies this weekend, but they don't. It's just the usual assortment of trash. Not trash. I just don't know anything that's playing. This Shang-Chi, I don't know anything about. No interest. Candyman, I would see. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to see it in the theater, though. Free Guy, I heard is good, but I have no interest in that. I can't stand. Is it Ryan Reynolds? Just can't stand him. And why can't shit be episodic anymore? There doesn't have to be season storylines in Star Trek. It has to be serious. Yeah, that's true. It's like self-contained episodes. Everything has to be. I think that's just a curse of modern TV. Period. I think because everybody wants to be this. Every TV show that comes out wants to be someone's binge addiction. In this era of TV we find ourselves in, and there's no such thing as episodic TV. Even procedurals have to crowbar in like some kind of overarching thing, and I'd like to get. See, it was fun when TV shows started doing that, like Sopranos or something like that. We're talking 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, where they'd be like, oh, this is not just a TV show. It's like, this is like a 50-hour movie or whatever. And that's fun for certain shows, but not all shows. There's some shows you just want to be in and out of. You want to be able to watch, an episode of like, oh, you can come in any point. You can watch episode 24. You can watch episode 37. You can watch episode 7. And you're not missing a beat because they're self-contained in and out episodes. I do miss that. What do you call a man in a purple jumpsuit and a jester's clap? Johnny Depp in the 2022 Tim Burton remake of How to Kill a Mockingbird. That you joke, but that could very well be a thing. And Tim Burton, I don't get him. I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure is my favorite Tim Burton movie. I've been on record with that. I also like Ed Wood. I like the original '89 Batman. I have mixed feelings. I like it. Now I'm at the point now where I like it. I've gone through phases where I didn't like it. I am at the point now where I like it. Other than that, though, I don't really like Tim Burton. Oh, that's true too. Astral says that Depp got blacklisted because of the that Heard chick. Yeah, that's true too. But even the CBS Mumble says CBS has a lot of episodic shows. But even those, I hear that for people that watch them, like even let's say like my mom watches like Criminal Minds or like Blue Bloods or something like that. But even those have overarching themes at times where they try to like come in and out. Oh, Beetlejuice. I forgot about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is great. Tim Burton. Okay, I'll include that on my list. And maybe I'm missing now. Now I'm questioning myself if I'm missing that. So there's Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Ed Wood. Those are 4 movies I can think of that I really like from Tim Burton, but nothing else. But please Please clarify if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I didn't like Sleepy Hollows. I although I'll have to say, I'll have to be honest and say I only saw it when it came out in the theater, but I remember not liking it, and I've never revisited it. I don't like Edward Scissorhands. I know it has its audience, and I'm sure it's fine. I know Vincent Price is in it, and for the brief time, but I don't think. What are my past issues with Batman '89? You know, I don't know. I liked it when it first. I've gone. It's funny. I went through phases with it. I mean, it came out when I was a kid. I liked it, seeing it, in the theater. It was. I mean, that was a. If you're not old enough to remember the summer of 1989 movies, it was incredible. Like it was such a big summer for movies, and that Batman movie was promoted in an era where no internet and no like movies weren't promoted that far in advance. I mean, that first teaser trailer came out like Christmas '88, and I'm telling you, every person knew when Batman was coming out. It's embedded in your brain. June 23rd, 1989. You had that embedded in your brain from the previous year. You knew when that movie was coming out, and then I think along the way they showed like bigger trail. I mean, it's the first time I ever was really cognizant of a teaser trailer versus an official trailer, and man, when that movie opened up, it was huge, just fucking huge, because there was nothing like it. Superman had kind of burnt out by then, movie wise. There was nothing like it, and it was a big deal. And Michael Keaton is Batman, and Bruce Wayne. It was a controversial casting. Jack Nicholson as the Joker. It was just fucking huge, and I remember loving it when it came out. I must have seen it 6 times that summer, and then when it came out on video, it was one of those movies where you can buy cheap. It was like a $24 purchase to buy the video. I didn't have a Laserdisc player at that point, and because most videotape. I mean, if you don't know, for home video, to buy a new release was like $100 because they were priced for rental. So rental stores would stock them and make money off rentals. But I bought Batman like the day it came out on video, and then didn't like it when I saw it on video. Didn't like it sitting it at home. Oh, you were 3 years old when it came out. Okay, so I'm gonna guess you didn't see it in the theater if you're 3. But I didn't like it, and then like over the years, like I you know what happened in between? I got into the comics really heavy, and the movie didn't jive with the comics that I was reading, and I preferred the comics. And then the animated series came out a couple years later. The animated series came out after Batman Returns. I really didn't like Batman Returns, still don't. But I felt that was my I was looking at all. I was blaming Tim Burton. Tim Burton did a little too many Tim Burton-y things in Batman '89, where it was just like, I don't know. I kind of have the same issue that I have with Total Recall, in that I think the sets could have been better. The design of the movie, and that's more for Batman Returns. Honestly, I think the sets Batman Returns look cheap. First one looks good, but anyway. So I thought Nicholson was over the top as Joker. These are my critiques as like a kid when I at a period in the '90s where I didn't like it. I've come back around to it as an adult. Now I appreciate it, and I think it's gorgeous to look at. The sound, the Danny Elfman soundtrack is phenomenal. It's a great soundtrack. I think Michael Keaton is great in it. I think Nicholson does a really good job. He really does. It's just a different, but I don't think as an adult I can realize this is a different version of Batman. Just like Christopher Nolan has his own version of Batman, which is very different. And but I think as a kid, I'm looking at it as, oh, this is the cinematic definitive version of Batman and they got it wrong. Or I was judging it for, like, I didn't like Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, for example. Like, oh, they're going to make him Two-Face, that's ridiculous. I didn't like the Commissioner Gordon casting. Pat Hingle, who's a great actor, a great character actor, didn't do it for me as Commissioner Gordon. But anyway, very nitpicky and things. I've come around to it. It's not a perfect movie by any means. It follows some tropes of the '60s show where, like, I never understood Joker's henchmen in the Tim Burton Batman. It just, like, where do they come from? Like, are they being paid? Like, they just, and they have, like, it seemed very, like, throwbacky things. But anyway, just weirdo nitpicky things that I did, but I like it now. And yeah, the Prince song's great. It's just great. It's a great soundtrack. Also really like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles '90s action movie. I was a little too old for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like a couple of years older than that demographic. My sister, but I remember seeing the Ninja Turtles movie in the theater, and I don't know, it was all right. And I don't think I ever saw. Oh, I did see the second one, and I don't remember it. So, but anyway, as far as the Batman that run, like the second Burton movie, I didn't like. Probably has its moments. Haven't seen it in forever. The Val Kilmer Batman is horrendous, but no fault of Val Kilmer. It's more of Joel Schumacher being the absolute wrong choice for director. The script's terrible. Jim Carrey's over the top, and Tommy Lee Jones is just atrocious in that movie. And then Batman and Robin is just a disaster all around. So, yeah. That's and I just preferred, like, all during that time I was obsessed with the comics, and I was obsessed with Batman the Animated Series, which I thought was, that to me really is the definitive version of Batman. Is on screen on any form is the animated series. That's it. Everything else is a different interpretation, and they have their merits, but for ground zero Batman, for me, it's the animated series. And that's why I get so frustrated at the animated movies now, because there's no consistency to them. Like, they're written by different. Like, I don't know what's what. There's so many of them. The second one is Perry in it. Yeah, Danny DeVito as the Penguin is very Perry-esque. I'll agree with that. And everybody, I think Mark Hamill's great in the animated series as the Joker. But I'll tell you who's really good is there's a lot of depth to that show. That's supposed to be a kid show, but the guy who played Mr. Freeze is his actor named Michael Ansara, who's I think gone now. I think he passed away. But he does Mr. Freeze, and the Mr. Freeze episodes alone of the animated series are great and poignant and well written and well acted, and they're just fantastic. And that's what makes that Batman and Robin movie such a cartoon. When you have Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze, it just doesn't work at all. And the animated series got all of the villains right. All of the villains right. Even Penguin's great in the animated series. Never worked for me. And the Adam West Batman, or even in the comic, definitely not in the movie, Batman Returns, and characters like Scarecrow and stuff that made him scary. And hard to do. Hard to make an afternoon basically cartoon for kids scary and dark and poignant, but the voice work was so good and the writing was so strong that it elevated whatever it was supposed to be on paper. Just phenomenal. So if you never saw Batman the Animated Series, and I find it hard to believe that anybody here hasn't really seen it. It was just great. I even like Superman the Animated Series with Tim Daly. I think that's good too. Not as good, but very good. Baby Doll might have been the episode. I can't. I'm not that astute where I can come up with specific episode titles. Let me see. It's my favorite episode. If I can look it up. Oh, I think the episode's called Heart of Ice. Heart of Ice is the episode of Batman the Animated Series with. It basically gives I think the origin of Dr. Freeze, but it was just I don't know. It's great. It's just fucking great. And I think they're all on Blu-ray now. I think they're all like in high definition, like animated high definition, like where it's rescanned for high definition, so it looks the colors pop more. It's crisper. It looks as good as it can possibly look. Oh yeah, '90s Spider-Man's good too. '90s Spider-Man's actually very good too. Not on the same level as Batman, but it's very good. Ghostbusters cartoon I wasn't really into, and again I'm not a Ghostbusters guy, but I wasn't into it. And again I think it was a little too old for it. Yeah, that's right. Gilbert was Mr. McSixaplex in Superman, and he was great in it. And again, that just goes to show you the quality of the writing. Same writers on Superman the animated series, they really know how to write for the ancillary villains. Because everybody knows Lex Luthor, and by the way, Lex Luthor's voiced beautifully in Superman the animated series by what's his name? The guy that's in Shawshank Redemption. I can't think of his name for some reason. It'll come to me in a minute. God, the big burly guy. He's always in. What the fuck can I think of him? Fucking shit. Help me out. Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown plays Lex Luthor. He's fantastic. But yeah, Gilbert does a great Mr. McSixaplex, or however you pronounce the name. And he's great. He's super annoying, and those things are good. But yeah, that's good stuff. Camp Candy, I remember that show. There's a lot of weird cartoons that kind of came and went, based on movies or whatever. There's some other superhero. They probably did some other ones that I just wasn't. I know they had planned to do a Green Lantern. They were going to do Green Lantern, the animated series. And there's a kind of a backdoor pilot for it in Superman, the animated series, where they give you the origin of Green Lantern. For whatever reason, it never worked. And I always liked Green Lantern as a character as a kid. And in fact, I think I read Green Lantern more regularly than Batman at a certain point. But yeah, for whatever reason, it just never came to be. Punisher Warzone movies. I never saw that. I never saw Punisher. It's funny. I was into the Punisher TV show on Netflix, like the first season, and then I just kind of I never returned to that. I was into Daredevil and whatever else they had on there, and I watched up until the point where they did that Defenders show. And then after that, I just kind of burnt out. I know there was another season of Daredevil I never saw, another season of Punisher I never saw. Jessica Jones I didn't like, and Iron Fist was the other one, and then the what was the other one? The one that took place in Harlem. I forget. Luke. I can't think of the guy's name. Oh, the Spawn animated on HBO was great. That's a great one. Yeah, the early '80s Justice League figures was good. I had a couple of those. Those were the best Superman, Batman figures of the time. But it's weird they didn't have a show to go along with it, because it wasn't quite the Super Friends. It wasn't the Super Friends show toy line. You figure they would have had a new cartoon to go along with that, and they didn't. It was weird. It was just like that toy line. Grew up on Transformers, but I like Beast Wars as a kid. So, yeah, Beast Wars is weird. Like, where does Beast Wars fit in with the canon of Transformers, or does it? Like, do they acknowledge Beast Wars as like pre-Transform? Like, I never understood Beast Wars, even though I watched it and I liked it. Luke Cage, thank you. Yes, Luke Cage. I watched the first season and I thought it was okay. Never watched the second season. Yeah, I was never a Ren and Stimpy guy. I just never, not that I don't like it. I just was never exposed to it. I mean, I know of it. I know the voices, but I remember Billy West does the voice of Ren, I think it was, and then some other guy did Stimpy, or maybe I have it backwards, and um, the guy who played Stimpy, whatever, like was in a contract dispute, like wanted more money, and I always thought it was weird. Billy West just he's such a great voice guy. They just asked him if he could do the voice, and he did. He did it like almost identical, and basically boxed the guy out of a job, and then he ended up doing both. Oh yeah, if you sent the UPCs, what was it called? Superpowers or something like that. You can get the rare Clark Kent figure, and I love that was such an '80s trope. Is if you collect enough UPCs off the back of a figure, you can get a special figure in the mail. I remember GI Joe did that a number of times. That's how you got Hooded Cobra Commander, um, Duke, and maybe one or two others. And I think there was a He-Man mail in too. In the new Transformers series, it's regular and Beast Wars together. How does that work? West did Stimpy. Okay, they're right. Creator got booted, and West started doing both. Right. I thought there was because I remember they talked about that on Stern, something like that, where they were basically trying to make it like Billy stole the guy's job. The Batman series was well written, but you hated the animated. Yeah, I didn't like the animated style at first, but I got in. You get over it because the show was so good. Oh, that makes sense. Why have I never put that together? Stimpy is based on Larry Fine. Ren is based on Peter Lorre. That's yeah, of course. Now that you say that, it makes sense. But again, I've never seen a full episode. I've seen clips. But yeah, they were going for some kind of weird style with Batman the Animated Series, like kind of like this. I don't know. It's weird. I always liked the look of Gotham because it looked like, and even the cars, it looked like the 1940s, but it wasn't. It was like modern times, but it had this very um, uh, strange thing to it. And what I liked most about the animated series is once Superman came into the picture with Superman the animated series, and they did that great animated movie, the Superman Batman animated movie, which is better than any fucking live action Batman Superman movie they did, probably including Justice League. And I'll go out on a limb and say probably better than the Zack Snyder one. Is I love how Batman is adversarial towards Superman, like doesn't like him. Doesn't fears him in a way that this guy has too much power. What if he ever lost it? So I like that they're friendly, but Batman always has his eye on him, which and the animated series did that really well. Batman's face looks like a piece of bread. Yeah, he's got that very pronounced jawline. Like Gattaca, yeah. Well, I remember Mask quite well. I hated that the toys were the figures specifically were too small because the toys were so awesome. I wanted to incorporate GI Joes with Mask toys, and it was impossible because the Mask figures were too small. But the Mask toys were fantastic. Yeah, and the play sets were great too, but they were just a little too small for the GI Joes. But yeah, that was a great series of toys. Um, okay, 7 hours and 30 minutes. I think I'm gonna call it here. Um, for all 155 viewers. I think some people must leave. Some people must leave. There's no way 155 people are watching this right now or listening to it. I think some people just leave their things on and go to sleep at this hour. It's like 4:22 East Coast time. I find it hard to believe that there's actually 155 people watching this. It's impossible. Impossible, as Perry would say. I think some people say they fall asleep to Perry Caravello live, and they wake up in the middle of the night and they hear my voice just rambling on. They can't believe that it's still on, and then they turn it off and go back to sleep. I get that quite a bit. Like, oh my god, I fell asleep when Perry was in the hallway, or when Perry was doing this or that, and then I got up to pee at about 4, and you're still going. Yeah, I guess it could be lurkers. There is a thing to be said about lurkers. There's a lot of people out there that if you're a lurker, can you just just for my own edification, if you're a lurker, you've never commented at all, ever, you've never said a word. Can you just at least mash your keyboard or type in an asterisk or a number or something? Give me outside of the regulars, just or type in "I'm here" or "hello," say something. You don't have to talk at all, but just give me something. Give me something, because I have a hard time. I don't think we're going to hear from 155 people. See, John pipes in. This is still going on. That happens too, where people oh my god, you guys are still on. All right, there's random one from Drossel Juno. Scotty Two Socks, yo. I've waken up after hours a couple of times now. It's 10:23. Where? Where's the 10:23? Somewhere in Europe, I would imagine. Thanks, Harry. Good times tonight, Tom. Always enjoy the TV and after hours. Sleep well. That's me every Friday falling asleep. Need more long form Tom Perry calls on Patreon. Just suggesting. I will if there's one to put on. They're not all winners. Holloway, NZ for New Zealand, I'm assuming. Okay, hi. I only check out this show every month, though. Okay, cool. Well, that's at least proving my point. 1982. Okay, we are hearing from people that don't normally chime in. That's cool. Belgium. Okay, very cool. But yeah. John was supposed to meet faster in the city. You're gonna meet at 9. Yeah. It's funny. There's even people even in the Facebook group or whatever. Tracy, how are you? Tracy's gonna call in. No, Perry's gonna call Tracy on Sunday. That'll be fun. But yeah, there's people in the Facebook group that write me privately about a post that goes up there, but they never really contribute. So there is something to be said about the lurkers. People that just not a lurker. Maybe it sounds like a bad word. It's not. It's just people that they're not as vocal, but they're there. They watch every stream, or they're there in the background, but they don't come on. And I'm getting messages. It's weird. As I said that, I got a message from a guy on Facebook, "Hi, don't want to comment in the chat, but just let you know I'm listening and love After Hours with TomB. Your voice is soothing." And then this is a person, I won't say his name. This is a person that writes me every now and then, but never participates in the chat. And you totally participate. No one's gonna bite your head off. But yeah, I guess some people just like want to hang back. Tracy, you're getting the call. Whether or not you answer the phone or not is up to you, but you're getting the call on Sunday. I'm sorry. We've talked about this. Does John Diaper make the establishment nervous? No, but like when John Diaper says something like the W word for, I don't how do you even say that? You know, the wig word was a little, you know, it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a TOS thing, but it's like we're getting heavily reviewed right now by Twitch, so I'm extra jumpy on certain things, and then any stuff with his mom, I'm not a fan of. So, in answer to your question. And yeah, getting back to the call, getting back to the caller things, like people, like I really, and I know Joey feels the same way too. People feel nervous about calling in because I think people in the chat, like like always like it's almost like a live thing, and it's almost like a live like rating system. Like people type in ZZZ or like, oh, this call's great, or Perry hang up or something like that, and the thing. I don't know. I think it puts people. I think it puts people off or whatever. But the live chat's going to be live chat. I don't think you can get into that really. Yeah. No, John. Look, with his, I just think his mother's. It's like when you talk about like jerking off to his mom or something like that. It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to hammer his mom. I think the things that are off limits are his daughter and his mom. You want to mention his mom's credentials and stuff like that. I just think there's a line. I mean, do I have to be specific? Like, yeah, no, obviously not the mechanic stuff. That's never going to be allowed. But and again, I love you, John. There's no ill will here. I just if I thought it was really bad, I would have skipped it. But it's I don't know. It was on the line. TomB makes Sunday's open mic potluck stream hosted by Simply John. I don't think we're gonna do that. And like, isn't that like a Kill Tony does? Like, open mic. I think that's kind of cringe. Johnny Pretzels, I was nervous big time, but just talking to Perry and fuck the chat. And that's what you guys say. Fuck the chat. Like fuck anybody critiquing you. You do you. You do your own thing. It's like Subscriber Sunday is a fun thing. And I think it's interesting, Perry calling, especially Perry calling somebody for the first time, and seeing where it goes. And some people can call and have some kind of premise they want to do, and some people can call as a character. Some people call and just be genuine with them, And I think that it all works at different times. And do it's all about you. You're a subscriber as far and that's one of, I don't know, it's one of the perks of being a subscriber. And you can do whatever you want. Don't let anybody rain on your parade, because everybody gets judged at some point or the other. You go through life, you're getting judged at anything, especially you put yourself out there on social media. You can post a picture of yourself with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, girlfriend, and some asshole's going to comment and be like, oh, what's with that shirt or whatever, and it'll make you feel bad or something like that. And I don't know. I think that that kind of sucks. And I like to think I have a thick skin. You know, because plenty of people like, boy, after TomB week, somebody I got nailed with comments like even messages like, boy, TomB, you got fat or something like that. I was just like, yeah, you know what, I fucking did. I definitely lost a little bit of control in the quote unquote pandemic, but does it make me feel great? No. But you have to have a thick skin. People are gonna, you put yourself out there, you're gonna get some kind of critique. But not everybody's like that. And if you want to have Perry call you, you put your number in. And this sometimes the same people ask. I try to mix it up. I try not to have we have a soft rule where I don't like to do the same people back to back weeks, unless it's a special circumstance or whatever. But it's hard. It's gotten harder to find new people that want to put themselves out there, because I feel like they're nervous about being judged by others. The only person you got to worry about is Perry. That's the only thing you got to worry about. That's the only audience you need to please. And by the way, if pleasing him is making him laugh, if pleasing him is making him scream, if pleasing him is making him smile, that's the only person you got to worry about. Don't forget about anybody else. That's my only thing. By the way, Hannah, when are you going to put your number in the ring, in the hat? And Jesus, you too. What you say you would suck for a call, but why do you say that? Just do it once. I'm not saying you have to make it a regular fixture. Just do it once. Mumble says Perry seriously thought about smashing the Ascents cologne before. I know. See, if he had it right in front of him, maybe he would have taken it and done it. But yeah, it was too long of a time between me mentioning it and then him figuring out where it was and then putting it two and two together. Like, oh no, that's probably not something I should do. John Diver says, I would love to do a bi-monthly thing with Tom appealing to the 10%, but even that is more than I should be a part of and non too realistic. What are you on about? I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna call him and talk him into circles. By the way, the jib thing, which Jesus spawned, is so fucking funny. Oh, sorry, Hannah, you were the Trinitary look like. I'm so sorry. Got you. That was great, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was you. That was fantastic. Good on you. Tracy says, shouldn't give him my phone number. Don't worry about it, Tracy. You'll get it over with. It'll be great. People will love it, and it'll be fine. But yeah, the jib thing, it's it's so easy. Like, he gets so mad now about, the potluck thing. Got you. Okay, I wasn't, I didn't know what you were talking about. We're not doing that, by the way. We hate potluck. But the jib thing is he could like what the fuck? Like, just take your phone. Like that's the thing. He doesn't. He'll never research anything. He'll never research. He'll never look it up. It's just it's gonna how dare it, tell me what jib means or you're blocked. It's well, you can find out very simply. That's one of the things I love about him. It's just John and I are going to do a show about audiophile gear and woodworking. Whenever I get whenever I get some extra time and I can actually do another show, I'll invite John over and we can from the Tiki Bar, and we'll just do it from the Tiki Bar and get drunk. By the way, people asking how the bar actually is okay from the there was no ill effects from the storm. It's just ill effects from the construction, but not the storm. Russell P. Chambers, I got a call once and Perry's voice over the phone intimidated me. He sounded so mean, but I think it was my nerves acting up. And when I speak to my comedy hero, because when I watched it back, he didn't see me at all. That I could see that. I could totally see that. Getting nervous. Um, no, Mumbles. I liked Laserdisc because Laserdisc was the only medium where you can get movies like in widescreen. So or letterbox, what they used to call it. Like now, it's such a non-issue because every TV is wide. 16:9. But back in the day, if let's say you got Raiders of the Lost Ark on VHS, it was pan and scan where it would like to fit the 4:3 frame of a TV, and then the letterbox, which had the black bars on the top and bottom, gave you the whole widescreen image. So it was more like cinephiles were into Laserdisc, and yeah, the soundtrack was great, especially when they started doing the Dolby Digital tracks or AC3. Those were phenomenal because, and they always bested DVD soundtracks even when DVD was well into its run, because DVD soundtracks were always compressed to fit onto the disc, whereas the Laserdisc was uncompressed audio, and it was fantastic sounding. So yes, partially the sound, but mostly just for the wide, and it was better picture quality than VHS, but it wasn't a digital medium. It was still an analog medium. But it was a pain in the ass because you could only fit an hour on one side of a Laserdisc, and then you had to like literally manually flip it to the other side, which got annoying, especially if it was a movie more than 2 hours. Um, and then they had like some players, fancier players that played both sides, but there was always a wait. John Depper said, I never felt nervous with Perry, but once I was way too wired. It was on my second. Oh yeah, I forget. Yeah, New Year's was the first time we did the phone calls. That was New Year's Eve when he was calling people to wish a happy New Year. That was the first time we did phone calls. I found a laserdisc copy of Tombstone at a thrift store with its original $49.95 price tag. Yeah, you really did. You definitely you didn't get any cheap laser discs unless you were getting them used. Yeah, like if a new movie came out, yeah, that's about what you were paying. Johnny Pretzels brings up something. The apartment manager called 2 Sundays ago, and I forget the girl's name who did that. That was a little, that was a little on the line because he was freaked out by that to the point where he went to the manager's office the next day, and then he was calling me about it. 'Cause what was the thing about? Oh fuck! What was the thing? What was the button there? I forget. I can't think of it was like they wanted to kick him out for some reason, but he was totally freaked out by it because For whatever reason, like she had the name of like one of the main people that like own the not own the building, but like manage the building. It totally freaked him out. So I forget that. Yeah, it's hard for me to remember each individual call, but I that was great. Was great about the Shannon Doherty lookalike too. Is like he just, you know, and God bless him. Like even tonight when Heidi came up on the stream, like he just doesn't. He thinks it's really Heidi from Total Eclipse Productions, and like he's engaging with Shannon Doherty lookalike. He's like, you were, he's like basically, uh, like yelling at her. Why didn't he ask you too, like, why the fuck what did you say when you called Randy Callahan? I went, why did you tattle on me? Basically, it was just so fucking funny. And those are the ones I can really enjoy too, because I kind of, I can do my own thing. Like I take a little bit of a break when he does the calls. At least I try to, until he fucking hangs up on somebody and I gotta like quickly get back into the game. But I remember I really enjoyed that one. Okay, that he stinks and streams, and the lady said she was giving him his first and only warning. Yeah, that really hit home with him. And I'm so glad the Cafe Lou called fizzled. I was gonna have a panic attack. Well, he's calling Cafe Lou. I was gonna do it tonight. It just tonight was so busy, and we had a ton of comments to catch up on. I just didn't want to take the time out to do a call that they might not answer again. So I didn't do Cafe Lou tonight, but we're gonna do it on Sunday. I mean, we're getting Cafe Lou on the phone. Right? I mean, if it goes into 2022, I mean, we're getting Cafe Lou on the phone. But to give Perry credit, I didn't know he was driving down to Cafe Lou. In fact, last Friday he was bringing up Cafe Lou, and I didn't know it. It sounded fishy to me, and I thought somebody might have been catfishing him or something like that. And I was like, "Hey, let's let's talk later. Don't go to this Cafe Lou." And then he went on his own because he lost power last night, and it but I will give him credit for actually on his own. He thought, he turned that camera on and he said, "Hey, here, I'm here at Cafe Lou and I'm going to get some content out of it." I didn't talk to him at all last Saturday, but before he did that, and he's holding the phone, narrating and walking into a place. I would never have the balls to do that, and you got to give him credit. It's like the same. It's the same balls that got him up on stage to do stand-up comedy, which a lot of people can't do. So I give him a lot of credit for that. And they were assholes to him. I wish he got more of it on the tape, but whatever. John says, I got nervous with the Dro Mohammed thing. Yeah, me too. I'm glad he did. I'm glad he didn't go through. Of course, I would have never let him do that. Of course. The elusive Belushi sushi would be great to come up with it. The PerioWare minis. I know I have a short list of some PerioWare games that I came up with that I wrote down, but anybody else that knows WarioWare games and want to you want to come up with some PerryWare games that we can do, I'd be into that. I have a couple of ideas, but they're tough to translate into real life. The whole segment of Cafe Lou was so SMH, way funny and one of a kind. High anxiety. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's the thing. I think that's some of the best stuff. Whatever you can't. the best writer for PCL, more than myself, more than anybody, more than crowdsourcing stuff, more than comments, more than anybody, is Perry. The best person to run narratives is Perry, and those are the best things when it comes from Perry, a genuine Perry. And that the Cafe Lou is 100% all Perry. That's just him. Like misinterpreting Instagram posts coming from some, and how did he even follow Cafe Lou to begin with? He just, because he has this thing. I don't know if he still has it, but he used to have this thing where I'd call him up, and I'm talking, this is years ago, and it'd be Twitter. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm on Twitter getting new followers. What does that mean? I'm getting new followers. Exactly what I said. I'm getting new followers. What do you mean getting new followers? And then turns out that he would follow an obscene amount of people. He would just go on Twitter and like randomly come across guys, follow, and he thought that would also translate to followers to him. Now, he did it so much that it actually ended up doing that, because if you follow enough people on Twitter, not necessarily now, but this was always a tactic of people that got a lot of followers on Twitter. If you follow enough people, let's say if you follow 20,000 people, there's a good chance that 2,000 to 5,000 of those 20,000 will follow you back, and that's what ended up happening. And he got a decent amount of followers from that, but it came to a point where it's obscene. It was like he was following over 30,000 accounts on Twitter, which is insane. And but and I don't know if he treated Instagram the same way, but the Cafe Lou thing is like, yeah, you're inviting me down, you fucking bitch. Yeah, why are you inviting me, begging me to come down there? But they're not. Just ran a post. Mumble says, when Trump was on Twitter, Perry would respond to his tweet with something like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? Like it was a DM, right? Like Trump would put out a tweet that'd be like, whatever he said, like Democrats did this, or these people are really wrong. I agree. Like Crooked Hillary said, she's a bitch. Exactly, thank you. And then, like, later on that day, they're like, yeah, Trump wrote me. He was telling me about how Hillary Clinton's painted his fucking ass. And I just told him I agree. She's a fucking bitch. But it's so casual about it. Like, casual about that friendship, alleged friendship. Because, if that was me or you or anybody, and, like, the goddamn president of the United States, I don't care what your opinions politically are, is direct messaging you and be like, hey, hey Hannah, what do you think I should do about this North Korea situation? I'd really value your opinion. Wouldn't you be blown away by that? Like, oh my God, the president is wow. Like you'd be speechless for a week, But he's like, yeah, he was asking me about North Korea, and I just told him fuck it. Fuck that guy. That's why bother? Yeah, Perry was a big follow guy. Tracy says, I should become VIP if I call. Well, you're not going to be calling. He's calling you. And maybe. VIP is a lot of factors in VIP. A lot of factors go into that. VIP is like somebody who's always here, which you are. Somebody who contributes to like crowdsourcing and stuff, does tip comments, the whole nine. Yeah, it's a whole encompassing thing. But yes, the call would definitely put you one step closer. All politicians are scum, says Jesus Christ. You have to become a politician in power, and people need to go back to normal and agree to disagree. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like I've said it before. I've become so apolitical in the past couple of years, really the past year specifically. where I just I don't even care anymore. I really don't. I find the whole thing draining, one way or the other. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care like what side you're on. It's just I think all of it's kind of cringe. Perry won't like me because I'm flat chested. I don't think that matters over the phone. I really don't. And he says that, by the way, but the thing, it's not like thing. John, you want your? Can I have my VIP revoked? I mean, yes, if that's a sincere request, absolutely. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Hannah says, "Oh, I do tip comments a lot, but they're not under my name, Pam Edit." Yeah. I didn't realize. I think I know you did Pam Edit. I didn't know you did Taliban too. That's very good. Taliban is very good. I mean, it's a little scary now, considering what's going on in the world. But when the Taliban started, it didn't get to this point. But yeah, that's great. Uh, and yeah, Hannah, you are not to give any spoilers away, but you're on the short list. And I think that and I don't want to make that big of a deal. We have fun on on Wednesdays, with the new VIP thing. I hope people realize that's just a fun thing. I'm not trying to like, make that like it's this like, ridiculous pageantry thing, where if you're a VIP you're better than other people. It's not like that. I just it's more through Perry's eyes, that like to take this stream seriously, like these are your VIPs or whatever. But by no means do I ever mean to represent that as like if you're a VIP you're above somebody else. I mean it's just a nice little token to give to people who have been around. It makes things. John Diaper says, I only like really exclusive stuff or nothing. I want to be in groups based on content. I don't. I mean, write me tomorrow if you really want it taken off, and we'll do it. But I don't know. That's not making any sense to me. You're never gonna have that first thing. Unfortunately, that's an elusive club. Jesus says, if you're not VIP, go fuck yourself, jag off. Tracy, I might interrogate him 1 second he loves Gina and another he loves Heidi. That is true. He does not sound faithful. He's faithful to whoever is writing him at the moment. I know. But I don't mean to piss you off, John. I know not having the first pisses you off. I get it. What is the first thing? Is it the first 50 or the first 30? Like, how does that work? And I know you deserve that. If there was a way I could give that to you, I would. I really, or if like maybe somebody who was first like cancels their account and it relegates to whoever came next. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And I'm the same way because like you clearly suffer from OCD, and as do I with certain things. Take Bill Axe first away from him. I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's possible. I know you can take VIP away, but you can't take. I don't think you could take the first away. I don't think so. And I think there's probably some founders, not some. There's probably a lot of founders that just aren't here anymore. That like were here early on and then just disappeared or whatever. Because people come in and out. Like there's people that just like go away, and then they come back, like names, I wasn't gonna revoke your VIP. I know. I get it. Yeah, I agree. Hannah, Bill Axe does rock. I wrote Bill today, actually, or responded to him and asked how he was holding up with the storm, because I know a lot of people in New Jersey, where he lives, got hit really hard with that flooding shit. So luckily, he said he was okay, so that was good. On Discord, there are a lot of Discord Caravello Mafia who are not around. Yeah, uh, yeah, there's some people that, yeah, right. Like I don't even know what that Caravello Mafia is. Like that seems like early phase PCL. But I also know like there's some people that like they'll write me and they'll say, hey, having a busy summer, but I'll be back in the fall, whatever. Like some names, that you get used to seeing, and then they dip in it. They come in and out. It's a lot though. That's why the other thing about the VIP thing too is like that's people who are here all the time, like 3 days a week at the length that we go is a lot to commit your time to. So, that's dedication. And it's just some names that you see here all the time, and it's astounding. It's very I mean, I think even Perry realizes that. As annoyed as he can get at certain names, he he recognized like, hey, look, not for nothing, that person's here every stream, just about. Yeah. By the way, John, Jesus, and myself the only ones on the East Coast. Is there anybody else on the East Coast? As we approach 5 a.m. Okay, we're officially over 8 hours. I know I said this an hour ago, but I really am gonna move it on. I asked to be removed from Mafia because I know most Gypsy gods were in it, and it outranks, so it would appear as if I have my own tier. Yeah, I don't understand the tier things in Discord. Like I like even like me, like I'm in there as like the Tom Brennan's. I don't know if I like that. I just like so I don't know. I kind of get Discord and I kind of don't. I've been spending more time on it lately for other things. Johnny Pretzel says there's tons of creativity in the PCL community beyond any of the lore built in the past, which is really cool. Perry's inspiring people, can't make this shit up. I agree with that 1,000%. I am blown away by the creativity of our community. Blown away. There's stuff that's just I'm very proud of this community. Can I have the Tom Brennan? You can take the Tom Brennan tier for yourself. I hate that. I don't like the way that looks. I don't know. It makes it. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. But yeah, the PCL community is just so great. It really, it, there's just something, especially now with the media share stuff on Wednesday. There's so many fucking unbelievably good things. Joey's long gone. Joey went to bed. Like Joey went to bed wisely 2 hours ago. Just changed my name. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll probably do that. I just think it's a little obnoxious. You know what I mean? Like I'm some like the Tom Brennan or something like that. What do we have in the watch party? I think we can do the watch party on here. For what I think, as long as the movie or whatever we're watching is on Amazon Prime, we can watch it here with no copyright issues whatsoever. So I don't know if that I don't know if that what's the name of that movie we're gonna watch? What the fuck? What was it? Shit, tag team or something? Not double team or something like that. I don't know if that's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, but I'm not a manager. I don't see. I don't like any of the terms he uses for me either. Like publicist, I'm so over that. I don't ever want to be called his publicist, uh, because I just feel like I've just moved beyond that. And manager doesn't feel right. Agent doesn't feel right. Boss doesn't feel right. I don't know. I don't like any of it. I'll figure something out. 11, you've been up all night, 11 a.m. That's dedication. God damn. John says I started the publicist thing because you knew I felt that way. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have handled all those roles. I've definitely done real publicity. I've definitely done manager stuff. I've definitely done agent stuff. So it's like all It's like I'm his Swiss Army knife. Consigliere I like. That's good. Fixer is good. I like Consigliere. My counsel. His dad. His daddy. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. There's probably some proper term that would sound right. That would sound right to my ears, but nothing. None of those are hitting me right. You could say partner, but yeah, it appears to heavily influenced by social structure and authority. Yeah, partner can be misconstrued. So yeah, friend. There's nothing. I don't know. Wrangler, yeah, but Wrangler sounds almost demeaning in a way, even though it's true. Handler is right. Handler, I don't know. We'll find the right word. There's a synonym out there somewhere. By the way, John, you got to feel. John has to feel at least the least bit flattered that so many people now use your name in tip comments. That's clearly not you, but there's somebody else that tips as John Diaper, and then not only that, in other people's comments they use you, like, oh, I heard, whatever, like, oh, your publicist John Diaper reached out to me, blah 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 blah, and that's got to be kind of flattering. I like that, Paul. Can you get me off the hook, Tom? For old time's sake. Can't do it, Paul. That was great. It kind of flew under the radar, but Perry saying that Abe Vigoda was in Taxi, and I was wondering. He clearly meant Barney Miller, but I was wondering who he was confusing him for on Taxi. I like to hear very well. But how do you think Sally was killed in The Godfather? What do you think they actually did to him when he got in that car? Do you think they just drove him to a? Did they kill him in the car and then dump the body, or did they take him to some remote location and execute him somewhere? And did he go it seems like he kind of just went quietly and realized this was the end, and he wasn't going to put up a fight or anything like that. But I always wondered in the back of my mind, like, how did they actually do it? How did they actually kill him? Yeah, and by the way, and John Diaper is the. By the way, John likes stats and having like check marks. You got to be the first person. Even Hero likes to brag about how many times he's been blocked, but I think he said the words, and I'm paraphrasing. John Diaper, you're blocked into infinity, like you're blocked in infinity, which I don't think it gets top than that. They made him eat broken glass. It's in a cutscene. I've never seen that. Really? That doesn't sound right. I don't know if it's in the book or anything. Is that really true? I mean, I can't think. There's no. That's not true. It's too late for me to think to interpret what's humorous or not. But yeah. So if there's a badge, like once we make partner, which I'm hoping we make. I mean, they're taking their sweet time about it, but you get access to different badges, and you can customize badges for doing certain things. So maybe we'll come up with a badge for John that's like blocked into infinity or something like that, which is the only person will have. Like it'll be the only one out there. Tracy, don't do that. Don't turn your phone off. That would be really lame. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll be very disappointed if you do that. Please don't turn your phone off. Because I know you'll be watching. But getting back to the John thing, I think that's when you're clicking with something is when, and I think some people take it personally in a weird way, and some people take it as an honor, which I think you should take it, is when other people start taking something you developed and running with it. So whether or not you can do a character or like something that you say, and then you see somebody else commenting under the premise that you developed. I think that's kind of cool, you know. So I hope that's the way people take it, because I know somebody like even like Ricky Horney, for example, there's so many different Ricky Horneys, and they just run with it. But obviously it's got to be gratifying to the ground zero person who came up with that. So I think you take it as a compliment. Tracy, just get it over with. Why is it consuming your mind for the past few days? It's going to be so fun, and we don't get to call countries that are non-English speaking like that. This will be the first one, because you're the person that's going to open up the floodgates. Because there's a guy in Germany that really wants a phone call, and he's nervous, probably for the same reasons you are. And who cares if your English isn't great? That's the whole point. It shouldn't be great. English isn't your first language, okay? I don't speak any other language than English. I wish I did. The fact that you can speak two languages is a huge badge of honor. And that goes for anybody in a non-speak English-speaking country. Do not be ashamed or afraid of the fact that maybe your English isn't pitch perfect. Give me a break. It shouldn't be. It's not it's not your culture or whatever. So it'll be fun, and I think it'll blow his mind hearing from you. Yeah, Hannah's right. It's a total mystery who started Ricky Horney, and that person definitely wants it that way, and I won't say anything about that. No, I'm not saying you're German. I know you're from the Netherlands. I'm just saying there's a guy in Germany who doesn't want to call who doesn't want to get a phone call because he's intimidated. And I think once you get the call out of the way, it'll be just like it'll be like jumping in the water, because you think the water's going to be too cold, and then you'll be fine and comfortable. You're not gonna. It'll be fine. Believe me. And you're such a good fan. You're such a great fan that you know everything that you could say with him, even if it's just hello. Even if it could be 10 seconds, it could be 10 minutes. It's up to you. But I think it'll be. I think you really be underselling yourself if you don't go through with it. Is there a Ricky Horny ringtone? I mean, you can make it. I mean, you just get the song and make it your ringtone. Don't be scared, Tracy. It's fine. Seriously, it's fine. You got a huge support system here. And once you do the first one, you'll, you know, it'll be easier. Paul, there's an old episode when Perry calls himself a drummer. Is that a mystery or made up? No, he's mentioned that before. He's like drummed. I guess he's drummed in like some like garage band stuff, but I'm kind of with you in the dark on that. I never really like. There's some things that he says that pique my interest, and I'll chime in and be like, "Hey, can we elaborate on that?" Hip drumming is not one of them. Um, but tonight, like okay, like tonight, I'll like here's because sometimes I just miss certain things he says, and then I'll see the chat blow up about it, and then I'll go back to it. But tonight he mentioned how he spotted Mickey Rooney in Orange County Bally's in the '80s. I think he meant Mickey Rourke. But even that is a little high. So I'll clarify on that. Like, wait, even if I don't want to chime in, I'm not in the mood to chime in. I just want to get through some comments and stuff. I can't let things like that go. So I'll think, and that's another benefit. Like coming back to talking about me chiming in, like that kind of thing would have gone unspoken about. Back in like February or whatever. But now it's like, yeah, I'll chime in and definitely bring him in. Scary Fairy. Hey Tom, I'm from Croatia. Where can I leave my number for Sunday? You know what? Message me in any way you can. If you want to whisper, I'll just reply to this here. Like, but you want to whisper me the number, like on the Perry Caravello live account. That's fine. Or any other way you want to get. You want to send me a message on Facebook or anything like that. Yeah, but you can whisper this account right here. I would say Joey, but he's not here. And I'll put you in for this Sunday. Absolutely, yeah, that'd be great. Normally, it's just you would just message Joey on Sundays, as the stream's going. But you can get me a number any time during the week, and I'll put you in for Sunday. Jake Corzo 84 is Wes Most going to call in again? I've seen highlights in it. Yeah, of course, he's been super busy. He's doing really good work, like producing and working his butt off. So, but yeah, he does. I think Sundays. I think the time change has been a little rough for him. Because normally, when Sundays started at 5, Pacific, it was different, and then they went down to 2, and now we're starting at noon Pacific. I think it's not easy for everybody to adjust to that. So, but yeah, he definitely, and I agree with you. I think Wes is great. Really, really. By the way, really talented guy. I mean, real outside of anything with PCL, super super talented. Let me see something here. Nah, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to open a window here. Sorry. Well, that's not gonna work. I was trying to make this easier for somebody. Perry is super talented outside of PCL. Perry's talented in some things. You know, there's things that Perry can do that I can't do. Spencer Tracy, literally the oldest man who ever lived because of alcohol. That is true. Yeah, there are some people that just like, you know, just look rough because of hard living. God damn it. I'm trying to think of who looks old now, like older for their age. Like we're like, oh my god, that guy's like 45 and he looks like 60 something. Oh, somebody said, I think Perry said his apartment manager told Perry that there was a tiger. No, it's the other way around. He went around like the next day, like he was, I don't know, he was doing stuff in his hallway and he came to a, like he was basically doing a poll of people that he saw as neighbors, like, you guys see a zebra, the guy dressed as a zebra, stay away from him, he's trying to fuck with me. And then he mentioned to the manager, like whoever's like the acting manager or something there, like somebody brought a fucking a lion into the you know. So he left. I got to go through. I can't for some reason like I can't extract this voicemail the way I normally do. So I might have to like play it and record it like live and capture it and post it. It's not. I will. You know, just like he was just talking about. You know the what was a tiger, but he called it a lion, and then the zebra. Okay. Scary Fairy, Blue Dude, 1992. I sent you a whisper. If you want to respond to that with your phone number, I'll make sure you get a call on Sunday. Martini is your favorite. Oh my god! Speaking of martinis, somebody. So I got this pretty nice housewarming gift from a good friend of mine, and it came in the mail. It actually came today. It's the Bartesian. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the Bartesian, and basically it's like a Keurig, for cocktails. So it's like a robot bartender in a way, and you it makes all kinds of cocktails, and you put your spirits like in different canisters around it. Like it's got a dedicated slot for vodka. It's got one for rum and tequila and gin, whatever. And you put these pods in, like you would a coffee maker. So there's a pod for like whiskey sour. There's a pod for like an old fashioned. There's a pod for like a martini. And and it just uses, like, you put the pod in, you program how strong you want the drink, and literally it does the cocktail mixing for you, and it pours out in this cocktail glass. I haven't used it, I haven't opened it, but I'm like so. I love it and I hate it at the same time because I'm trying to lose weight, and this thing is just not gonna work for like me not drinking or like trying to like get in some kind of decent shape. I'm just like, oh no, because I could totally see myself. Because I hate making drinks. I'm a beer drinker because I'm so lazy about making cocktails. I can make a good Bloody Mary, as I've talked about. I can make this and that, but I hate like getting bitters and shit and mixing it up and making the whole thing and vermouth and blah blah blah, whatever you have to order. Like, I just want to push a button and have the cocktail come out. So, you know, it'll be fun times. Next time you visit, John, I'll have some cocktails ready. You won't have to. By the way, yeah, you drink half the Jameson, but I got like 3 other bottles. So, anyway, that should be fun. Testing that out. What do you make, Tracy? Like, what kind of cocktail? Like, what kind of I see. I don't. I never really make martinis at home because I don't know how. I can't do it right. I've tried and I fail miserably. And I love a good like kettle martini, extra dirty, with olives, super super ice cold. But I can't replicate it at home. I can make an okay margarita, or something. Even though I don't do that. But I can't. Just, like, I'm just too lazy to make cocktails. Like my mom, the only cocktail she drinks is like it's called, what is it? The old fashioned, which is, I think it's like a very old timey cocktail. I wouldn't know how to make that in a million years. And if somebody came over, I don't want to have to like go online and be like, how do you make this, whatever. I just want to click a button and have it come out magically. It's like this. It's like the thing on Star Trek. What do they call it? The what's the thing on Star Trek where they like a meal materializes? You just say, I want a steak, a medium rare, and it comes out. I forget what they call it. That's what I want for drinks. I've drank alcohol 5 times in the past 5 years. Jesus, wow. What is that? What's that all about? Is it just you just not into it? I drink martini as a pour it in a glass and bombs away. But what do you drink? Like, what are you actually drinking? Replicator. Yes, thank you. That's what I was. That's the word. The replicator. The Star Trek replicator. Yeah, I just want to replicate like a perfect cocktail. I'm gonna go out tomorrow night. I haven't had, fuck, I haven't had like a night out. I'm gonna go out tomorrow. Maybe I haven't figured it out yet. I think I'm gonna go out tomorrow to like a steakhouse, but not Outback. Unfortunately, I'm not as rich as Perry is. But maybe if my tips for TomB add up, I'll go to a steakhouse tomorrow. I'm supposed to go with a friend of mine, and get like get like a couple of nice cocktails. And I've been trying to take it easy on drinking this time because I really do want to start getting like I say back into shape, but I'm trying to remember a time where I was. Um, but I just can't help it. It's a nice when you have a day off, tomorrow, day off, even though there's no days off really. I got so many other things going on. I do want to go out tomorrow and have like a couple of nice cocktails, and like cocktails I can't make at home. And that's like when I go out to eat, if I go out for Italian or something like that, I'm not going to order something I can make at home. I'm going to order something that's impossible to make at home. That's why you're ordering it out. That's how I look at it anyway. So I look at that as the same way I look at drinks, martini. Right, martini is your favorite weapon of choice, Tracy. But what is in the martini? Is it a vodka martini? Is it a gin martini? And what are you putting in it? Because I like if I'm going out to like a nice restaurant / bar, I like to get 2 strong martinis to start out with. But I can't drink a martini with food. Once food comes out, the martinis are over. And then I'll switch to beer or something else. John Diver, I used to drink 48 hours straight my 20s. I've never been that kind of drinker. I don't drink to get drunk. I like a nice cocktail to like loosen me up, whatever. But very rare am I drunk. I can't remember the last time I was drunk. I'll get a little buzzy, but I won't get drunk. Very rare will I let myself loose like that. It's got to be the right situation. Paul says he went to Casa Vega, the famous margarita that Cary Grant and Brando would order. Oh, wow. That sounds great. Not a margarita guy. I'm not, I go in and out with margarita. It has to be something different. I like a mango spicy margarita or something like that, not a straight up margarita. Definitely not a frozen margarita. Fuck that. Tom, do I consider Outback to be fine dining? No, but I think it's kind of sweet that Perry does in a way. Like he was going to go to Ruth Chris. I guess he didn't mention it. He was going to go to Ruth Chris because he was going to treat himself. And fair enough. Go. He should. He's he makes okay money on this. Outside of like paying his cousin and stuff, and they'll do the books tomorrow, but treat himself to a nice meal. The fucking guy eats out every day. Every day, multiple times a day. Every day. Eats out more than anybody here. He doesn't cook at home anymore. I think maybe in the morning he'll eat his 6 eggs or whatever, or however many eggs he eats per morning. But he went out for steak and lobster, and he was going to go to the Ruth's Chris, but he didn't. He wasn't dressed appropriately. He went to Ruth Chris, and he asked the guy there, he's like, "Can I come in there? Am I dressed okay?" And he was wearing shorts. He's like, "Oh, well, they basically said no." He's like, "All right, fuck it. I'll go to Outback." And it didn't faze him at all, by the way. And they went to Outback, and, he's posted it on Instagram. And I like that he does that, that he takes the time to do a little video. Because, I don't need him to do a full Outback review for, like, Patreon or something like that. He's done that plenty, but, a little, like, here I am. I like that. But no, I have not been to Outback in a long time, but I used to like their boneless buffalo wings. I don't think they still have those. I never had a steak there, and I wouldn't order a steak there, of course. I mean, I know what a steakhouse is. TomB is in the bargaining phase of denying he's an extreme alcoholic. I don't have that gene. I really don't. I don't. I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't drink a lot. I really don't. I mean, I know it's like it's a stereotype Irish thing. Is like, oh, you're drunk, whatever. I'm really not. I really, I like a couple of beers here and there. And some cocktails, but I like a nice drink. Believe me, don't get me wrong. And I like to loosen up with some drinks, but I always feel myself getting to a certain point that I'm not comfortable with. And when I feel that point coming on, I stop. I don't enjoy being drunk. I don't enjoy being not in control. I am self-admitted control freak in a lot of areas in my life, and I can admit that. I can admit that about myself. And I think one of the reasons I don't like being drunk is you don't have that control over yourself, things you say or whatever, and I don't like that. So I have to be in the right company, in the right situation, and in the right location where it's a safe thing. I don't have to drive or anything like that. And maybe I'll let loose and, have one or two drinks past that line, that invisible line that I know, that my body senses. But it's rare. Mom will say, yeah, and yeah, Outback has some good stuff. I agree. Outback does have good stuff. I don't think their burgers are that great. I remember having a burger there and not being blown away by it. But at all those places, you just got to know what to order. I mean, I like that's as long as it's not Applebee's or something. Outback's fine, but just don't the fact they can't really call themselves a fucking steakhouse. Excuse me, excuse me for swearing, as Perry would say. Tracy says, I drink every day, but only after dark. It's no fun being drunk during the day. I don't know why. I get what you're saying, but I do enjoy the occasional day drinking now and again. It's been a while since I've done that, but I do enjoy the occasional day drinking. David says, "Bro, can we wake up Perry? I don't want to listen to a guy ramble about Outback Steakhouse on a Saturday night." Is it Saturday? It's Friday night for most of us. But no, I'm not gonna wake up Perry. And why are you listening? Why are you even listening to this? Has a decent. There's another. There is a chain that has a decent steak that's not like a high end steakhouse, and it's escaping me at the moment. Russell had too much Guinness this afternoon at a bar ran by the brother of Kate Flannery from The Office, so I missed the whole stream until after hours. Oh man, it was good. You'll want to check the replay. It was good. Um, Guinness is not something I can have in the summer though. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, that's it. I have been, trying to uh, stay fit. Longhorn. Yeah, that's it. Mumbles. Yeah, you're right. Longhorns. Yeah, I'll say decent steak, decent, not steakhouse quality, but very decent for a chain. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Wait, is it Longhorn? Maybe shit. It's either Longhorn or Texas Roadhouse. It might be Texas Roadhouse because Hannah mentioned it. Might be Texas Roadhouse is what I'm thinking of. Texas Roadhouse. But I think what happened is I got a little too indulgent during the pandemic, especially, I had a lot of extra stress, like taking care of family and stuff like that. So I definitely indulged quite a bit. Still didn't get too drunk, but indulged quite a bit, and I've had to break out of those habits that I had, last year, where I just ate and drank whatever the hell I wanted any given day. Because the gyms weren't even an option; they weren't open. But now I've been going back, and God, like starting so far past what I was at. But so I feel like I can treat myself like on a Saturday night to that kind of thing. I won't try not to drink during the week, but yeah, I feel like I agree. I think you can reward yourself if you're staying active and shit. But whatever. I'm so far away from being able to pat myself on the back and give myself rewards. Okay. So, Scary Fairy Blues, I got your number. All right. Sounds good. Uh, all right, so I'll have a couple of calls on Sunday that are not um, English speaking countries. That's exciting. I'm just going to make sure I have that number copied, and I do. I'll lock that in. John used to work with Ron and Fez. How did you feel about Fez passing away? Were you like super bummed out? I know a lot. Again, it was not Ron and Fez are not people that I was ever exposed to, but well, I noticed a lot of people were, yeah, as you are when anybody passes away that you were fond of. But I know a lot of people were really really sad about that. When did Ron and Fez stop becoming a thing? Oh, I'm sorry, John. That's that's a big bummer. So, Tracy, stop being scared. I really it makes me feel bad that you're so worked up about this. Don't. It'll be so smooth and easy. Don't worry. We're all here to help you. Dan, oh, okay. I didn't realize they went that long. Yeah, I've heard Ron Benning. I don't know. I've heard Ron Bennington like on Kumi's show back when I would be exposed to that a little bit, but not. Fez retired in 2015. Oh, you were on the show, Paul? Wow, interesting. That's a bummer. See, like grown up as a Stern guy, that's all I ever listened to. So anybody like Ron and Fez or Opie and Anthony was just never never an option for me. Again, it's that loyalty curse. I felt like I'd be like disloyal. That's how good Stern was. Is he indoctrinated his audience to thinking that if you did listen to somebody else, you were somehow disloyal to the show. Like that's how good he was. He would get you to buy into his advertisers and hate his competitors. And that's, that was in me. That was ingrained in me. But I have listened to Opie and Anthony like on YouTube. Like it'll come up in a clip, and I have listened to clips and enjoyed it. where it's like, oh, this was really funny, like this little thing, or an interview, it was really good with somebody they got, and it's not that I would ever have listened back then, but I checked it out then. Oh, Paul was a Stern guy, but Ron and Fez was at night in the afternoons. Yeah, I would listen to Stern 24 hours a day, even before he was broadcasting 24 hours a day, because I would record the show in the morning on a VHS tape. I recorded for people that know VHS, I'd record in SLP mode, which allowed you to record like 6 hours, and then I would dump it onto cassette tape or whatever, and then listen to it throughout the day. So I'd always be listening because I needed to hear every part of the Stern Show, every minute. So I didn't have any time. I didn't have any time for anything else. Certainly not on the radio, unless it was sports radio. I'd listen to like sports radio during baseball season. Not anymore though. Poor Tracy. We're gonna send Tracy to the loony bin because of this subscriber Sunday thing. Don't worry. Oh, I remember. Yeah, that's funny. Mumbles mentions Artie Lang's direct TV show. That didn't last long, but that was good. I liked it too. Man, he just screwed up. He just couldn't hold anything together. Every single thing he screwed up. All right, going on 9 hours. I'm gonna really, 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 really call it quits. Happy Time Harry started with Stern, then Don and Mike. Never heard of Don and Mike. Never able to hear Opie and Anthony or Ron and Fez because the radio markets were garbage. Was lucky enough to hear Stern and Don and Mike as long as I did. What market is that? But I'm going to say good night, everybody. Enjoy your. Good night to all the lurkers too. Good night to the people. Good night to the people that are sleeping, and maybe I'm like subliminally entering their dreams, because I would do that with Stern, especially in the summer. Like when I was a kid, and like I wouldn't have school, and I would be able to wake up. I'd set my alarm, and then the clock radio would play Stern, and then I'd be still in a half dream state, and whatever was happening on the show would influence my dreams. And I had so many dreams about like being in the studio with Stern, or like being a part of the show somehow, and it was always like really fun to like have these like weird dreams, because the show would be playing as I'd be sleeping, but it would be just completely like these lucid dreams of Stern. They were fantastic. It was really fun. Good stuff. No, and no, Hannah, Artie hasn't done his podcast since before the pandemic. He hasn't done anything. Like he's off the radar completely. I think I read he's staying with his mom or something like that. So I mean, I hope he's doing all right. I mean, I don't know. He's a mess, obviously. Tracy, almost noon. Might as well stay. Nah, get some sleep, Tracy. Try to get a couple hours at least. Try to get a couple hours. I'm gonna try to get a couple hours. Good night, Big Daddy. Good night, Big Daddy. Good day. Good day, everybody. Oh, by the way, one of my favorite things tonight was I forgot about it till just now, when Perry was doing the James Bond thing, and he was trying to come up with a cool thing, and he points and he goes, "Have a good day. Hope it ain't your last." I thought that was as good. I mean, he did a great. I know he doesn't always come through on those things, but I thought that was great, because he had to come up with a witty James Bond thing, and for Perry, I thought that was great. James Bond saying, "Good day. Hope it ain't your last," and then points the gun. Pain gun. Oh, you'd record Stern at 3 a.m. on a digital voice recorder and edit out the commercials. That takes a lot of work, especially when you got into like the late '90s with Stern. It was almost 50-50 commercials plus talk. It was so many commercials. But anyway, good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. And I'll see you on Sunday. Enjoy your Saturday. Tracy, get some sleep. That's a direct order. And we'll talk later. All right. Oh fuck! I gotta get a new chair. I hate this chair so much. You're welcome, Russell. Russell says thanks for the streams, Tom. You're very welcome. And thanks to you guys. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my ramblings. Good night, Hannah. Good night, John. Good night, everybody. Good night, Tracy. Good day, Tracy. Paul, Mumbles, Harry. Well, hopefully you can be back on Sunday. And please don't get mad at me about the little break we're taking. It's not going to be that long. I've already got some concerned messages, like, please don't go on like a long break. We're not going on a long break. Trust me. It's just be very short. I promise. We've been going 3 days a week, pretty straight through since March. So I think just a little tiny itsy bitsy break, and I promise that's all it'll be. All will be right with the world. All right, good night, guys. For reals. See ya Thursday. I'll try the Bartesian eventually, but I'm not breaking it open just yet. Ugh, I'm completely out of water, so I really gotta go. All right, good night, guys.